You're acting like it's just a regular squirrel.
Dude, you're acting like it's the president.
Because, this squirrel.
It is a random squirrel, man. It just has an Instagram account.
Yes.
It's a random squirrel.
It's making them so much money. Jackpocket. It's
Jackpocket.
It's America's #1 lottery app. The easiest way to buy your lottery tickets without having to get up off the couch, without having to go to the gas station or the bodega. You just fund your account, and you can buy whatever tickets you want. We're talking cash for life, $1,000 a day. We're talking pick 10, take 5, win 4, numbers Eve. I don't even know what these are. You can from small jackpots all the way up to Powerball and Mega Millions. Right now, Powerball is at a paltry $63 million.
That means someone just won, because I think it was 90.
Okay.
When we did that.
Yeah,
last time.
we haven't had one of those mega ones in a little bit. It's coming. We're good for I think we're good for 4 or 5 of those a year.
We're also good for we're kind of cheating the lottery system, because we are never winning. So we pick numbers, and you just know they're going to be losers, because all we do is lose.
It's true.
So you can just eliminate those numbers. Now we're making the game easier for you.
Actually, we're increasing your odds, so we're going to pick more numbers today. We're losers. Make sure you do not. Oh wait, Mega Millions is 303, so we're going to play that. But if we're going to lose, maybe we should just play the. If we know we're going to lose, maybe we play the cheaper one.
Nah.
Mega Millions it is. Let's go. Pick your own numbers. 1 to 70.
69.
Yeah, buddy. 22.
22. I'm going to go with 44.
38.
38.
24.
24. And my Mega Ball number is going to be 18. Add to cart. Check out. Place order. And you are done. That's it. That's how easy it is to buy these tickets. Oh, Face ID not recognized because I got my Jackpocket glasses on. Order successful. You have your ticket. It's all official right on your phone. You don't have to worry about losing the ticket. It has the number and everything right there for you to win that money. Over $540 million in prizes have been paid out through Jackpocket to lucky winners. So order Powerball, Mega Millions, and all official state lotteries right there on your phone. And if you use code KFC, you get your first ticket for free. Go try to win a $300 million raffle for free just by typing in KFC. It's incredible. Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app and official partner of Barstool Sports. It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. We got a monster episode today. We got a lot to get to. I got to recap my Shiva story. We got the Kamin family coming in to give me their perspective of it. After their dad died, and I went to their services. We got an interview with Joe List coming out. Very funny comic who's got some dates on the road. He's got tickets on the 9th in Town Hall in New York City, and then in the coming months up in Wilbur. It is Election Day as you listen to this, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was, but I just was scrolling, and there was just so much on the timeline, and I just genuinely, truly was like, I would give anything to go back to the before days.
Before what?
Probably 2016, before Trump. Just and not politically. I'm not saying that politically. It's very funny, by the way. I had been shadow banned on Instagram, a certain level of shadow ban, locked at 551,000 followers. And just magically, I gain and lose 2,000 followers in the same day, every day. There's just literally someone going, gain 2,000, lose 2,000, every fucking day, pulling their levers. Just locked in at 551,000. And then the last couple of videos I made were one made fun of Kamala being not even made fun of Kamala, but I was just yeah, Joe Rogan shouldn't fly to her. Shoots up 1,000 in a day. And then yesterday I made a video about Epstein and Trump and dropped down to 550. It's just instant. I can actually very much understand why people. Well, they're just well, that worked. I'm just going to keep doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm the idiot who just does both and ends up losing. It's I gained a little bit, but ended up losing more by talking politics because I just didn't pick a lane and go through it. Because 1 second I was Kamala is not a big deal. Who gives a shit about her? And everyone was yeah. And then I was Donald Trump hung out with Jeffrey Epstein for decades and was doing terrible shit. They're like, the fact. This has been the thing that I've been preaching for a couple of years now. How people don't actually care about the aliens. They don't actually care about the victims of the Epstein. They just care about like the grand stories. Yeah. I mean, no greater example than this. That like there is just hundreds of hours of Epstein talking about Donald Trump. Podcast with the interview where you can hear him describe all of their interactions. And it's not like bombshell shit. He's not like he went to Little St. James with us and like fucked kids. He's not saying that stuff. So it's not like a smoking gun in that regard. But it is the world's most notorious pedophile.
For a story where like people have been like, if you were in a picture at the Oscars,
if you're tangentially like, 6 degrees of separation,
like I don't know, I just took a picture of the guy at the fucking Oscars,
right?
Like,
and now this guy is like, he was my best friend for 10 years, and he just told all the stories about how they used to run around town, dude. Donald Trump, if these stories are true, so out of pocket, so crazy. First of all, the very first thing they put out there was Epstein talking about how Trump got scalp reduction surgery.
Scalp reduction surgery?
Yeah. Not like hair transplant, scalp reduction. I don't know really what it means. I don't know how that works. I guess like if you were to like remove the bald spot and maybe like pull the skin tighter or something. I do not know what scalp reduction means.
He got the anti-yarmulke surgery?
Yeah, basically. yeah. But the fact that was like the first thing that was out, and probably the thing that Donald Trump hates the most. You know, people like saying that, you know, let's see. Procedure removes the bald area of the scalp and stretches the remaining hair. That's disgusting, dude.
Oh, my God.
So you're not getting new hair. You're just stretching your
Oh, I can see. Like, that's kind of what his hair looks like, right?
Yeah.
Like that
So that's why
second
his hair
one
looks
from the top.
fucking goofy. Is he pulled his hair over the top. And they say he refuses to release his medical records, and like it's probably because of shit like that.
Does they give you like a facelift too? Like
Yeah, it's basically like a facelift for your head, kind of.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But then he said, this is what Trump would do. Trump would call his buddies and have their wives listening in on the phone call, be it on speakerphone or on like third line or second phone, whatever it is. And he would be like, yo, you want to fuck chicks? Like, let's do this. Like, I got Miss America pageants in town. I got the Hawaiian Tropic, like, calendar photo shoot. Like, we can fuck whoever we want. Let's do it. And they would be like, okay, cool, down. And then when the wife was, like, mad about it, he'd be like, do you want to fuck me? And he would fuck all of his friends' wives that way.
That's one of the most twisted things I've ever heard in my life.
Ever. Dude, that's so crazy.
Wait,
he specifically
of all
said,
the things,
he was
like, that's
I
like
love,
the most fucked up thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy, so the story was Michael Wolff, who is a author who has written like 3 or 4 books about Trump now. He has a podcast called Fire and Fury, and he did an interview with Epstein in like 2017. So it was like right after Donald Trump took the White House, before Epstein got arrested, and for whatever reason waited until like right now to drop it. If you wanted, I feel like if you wanted to sway the election one way or the other, you should have done it like probably like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like a full year, because this is my point, that nobody really cares, or they just turn a blind eye. But so this guy, you know, I'm at the point where I literally do not know anybody to trust anything at all anymore. Like every poll I see, every chart I see, every I'm like, all of it's, you know, questionable. But this guy is, you know, basically made his career about Trump. So, you know, however you want to, whether that means he's got an axe to grind against him or he just is reporting on him, I don't know. But he seems to have all of this shit about Epstein and Trump, and that was the main thing. He was like, he loved to fuck his friends' wives, and he would be like, he would say it. He'd be like, I love to fuck them. Like isn't that great that I can fuck their wives? But it's so twisted all around. Like I can't see how it all lines up, but like for the wife to just be like, okay, I'll fuck Donald Trump now. She's like, get back at him. It's like, but you gotta fuck Donald Trump. You know, it's not like, you know, like the pick of the litter when it comes to fucking people, I wouldn't think. And then, so the scalp, he fucked all the wives. He said they used to roll up to the casinos in Atlantic City, and they would intentionally break up couples. So he clearly has some power shit where it's like, I don't want women, I want like your woman.
Yeah.
I want to take
Epstein
a girl
saying
from
this
is Epstein, and Epstein saying that him and Donald Trump he said we were best friends for a decade, and we used to like run around town like partying and doing all our shit, real estate deals, hanging out in casinos, flying to probably fucking Little St. James. and he said that they would like roll up on a couple, and Epstein would they had like a little 2-man game where Epstein would be like, "Hey man, you want like a tour of the casino?" And then Trump would kind of swoop in on the woman and be like, "You're very beautiful. Like, we want to show you like the suite." And then his security guards, they said, would just kind of like whisk them away, and it would all of a sudden it would just be like, your girl's gone, and you're sitting there with like Jeffrey Epstein with your dick in your hand. I don't know how that all like
guys like that are so fucking weird.
Crazy.
Like guys who have like a medical need for pussy, like where like you're so it's always 100% like a power thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like, and then they're like, "What, you're gay?" Like, well, 'cause I don't want to fucking steal girls away.
But
like, no,
because there's
dude.
also another level. I know guys who want, who, at least when we were younger, were obsessed with getting laid like every night out. But they would just
literally the worst hangs.
But those guys were also like just looking for, hopefully, just like other single women at the bar who like wanted to fuck also, to be like, I need to steal someone's wife or girl.
But if you're going out and you're like,
crazier.
I think anyone who like goes out with like, I'm fucking it, be it stealing's obviously a level up, or just like, I gotta fuck, like there's something wrong with you. Guys or girls, I'm sure girls do it
Dr.
too.
Tugs, get
Like,
jerk off first. So your brain still feels that
I don't
way.
know, just go hang out
Look
with
at
people
that
and
guy's
see where
hairline.
things go.
Holy shit,
my
who's
God.
that guy? Oh my God. That guy needs scalp reduction surgery. Holy shit. Are there girls like that? Who are like, I am getting dick tonight.
Yeah.
But like, probably not like every night, right? It's probably like, I just broke up with someone, I need to get laid sort of thing. Whereas there are guys who are like,
Yeah, I
every
don't
single
think it's like
time if I
every
don't
night thing.
close a girl, like it's a failure of a night. But
I
I don't
think
know how
there are
much
girls
that
like that,
exists
too.
anymore. Think that exists as much?
I'm sure it does.
Does it? Because I feel like you guys don't do that. You don't like go out like trying to get numbers and girls and get laid, right? It's all
Not my
apps and
friends.
shit.
No, yeah. It's a lot of apps, I would say. Yeah. If anytime one of my buddies says we're going on a date, he's going on a date tonight, it's usually from an app.
I feel like those guys are probably just doing all the groundwork. It's actually probably better to hang out with those guys now. Because rather than being obsessed with it at the bar, it's like they've been doing it on the app for like 5 hours pre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they get to the
But
bar.
then,
and
but then it's like hanging out with guys. It's like, we gotta go to this bar, talk to a girl there.
right,
I'm like,
yeah.
I
You're,
want to go to that
you're just like a
fucking
third
bar.
wheel. You're on like a double date at that point. It's like I just don't want to be a part
I've
of
taken
your-
my jacket off and put it on a chair. I'm where I'm going to be for the whole night.
That is the sign.
Yeah.
We're going nowhere. I'm sitting on this jacket, man.
But is it more for like validation, or is it because like just like
Yeah. No, I think that's all about. It's not just like I want to get my dick wet because it
Yeah.
feels good. It's all about attention and
From the guys
confidence
I know who used to do it, they 100% did not feel like men, and thought that and now like they were like either like kind of nerdy or like skinny or like
Oh really?
like dorks.
Mine are the opposite. They were all like meatheads, but I don't even think it was more like I'm gonna get laid and you're not, and like if you get laid I'm gonna get a hotter girl. If you get one I'm gonna get two. It was just like a competition with other guys.
Oh, really?
I didn't. I probably only
But
knew two.
they were like for sure.
I have like
meatheads.
two that really stick out, and they were both like, they both definitively did not think that they were men in the traditional sense.
Really?
Yeah.
really?
And did they get a lot of pussy?
One did, one didn't.
Because I'll tell you what, the worst thing is being that guy and not fucking.
Yeah.
At least those guys can be like, I've had, you have crazy sex stories, you've hooked up with beautiful chicks. Like at least there's some side of that. If you're that guy and failing,
Even the one that did would end up dating them like for like 2 weeks, and then
so he
break-
couldn't,
yeah.
just hit it and quit it sort of thing. That's like the people I know who did that were also the same guys that I was telling. Like they were screaming about each other's W-2s while they fought each other. They're those kind of guys.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, it's
Where
all
you're like,
comparison. It's all like
well, a man makes more money.
It's
like-
either literal or figurative dick measure.
Yeah.
One or
Oh
the
my
other.
god, that sounds like just the worst.
It was. I mean, I lived with them. It was truly the worst. Like the worst.
Yeah, I lived with that for a little while, and then, but it was fun. It was fun for like a minute, and then I was like, I can't like live like this. Like, this is crazy. But anyway, back to this Epstein shit. Like, nobody cares.
No.
Like, we've been clamoring about the Epstein list and the Epstein this and that. Who, like you said, if you are even tangentially related to it, it's like this black mark on your career, or people throw it in your face every 2 seconds, and it's like, here's in Jeffrey. Even just like hearing Jeffrey Epstein talk, you think people would be like interested in that because it's like you guys are obsessed with this dude. Like, go listen to what he fucking. It's like nobody actually cares.
I think this
about
one
anything.
I would venture to guess the people who are obsessed with Epstein list, from what I see from people I know, and people who like Trump are like the Venn diagram is pretty much
Totally.
circle. So
So
like
now
that's
it's
why
like-
no one cares.
Right.
It's like, well, I already didn't care about that story.
Well, how about this though? You are, I think they dropped like over the weekend, so it was 7, maybe 5 days out of the election, and you find out that your competitor has like direct ties to the most notorious pedophile ever, and they don't say a fucking word about it because the Clintons are sitting right there. So you know that Kamala and her team are like, fuck. Like, ugh, we could just, they could have just hammered that for the final week, being like, this man hung out directly with the biggest pedophile forever for 10 straight years, and they just can't say a word about it because the other side of it would be.
Do you think he would? This might not be a PC question, but would he lose more like voters if it came out that he fucked a kid, or if he came out that he fucked a guy?
Great question.
That is a great question. It's sickening that it's a great question.
I would
It's a
guess.
great question.
I would guess it's kid.
I'm
pretty sure.
But
it's
the
kid.
fact that it's kind of close. How about this? Donald Trump fucked a 17-year-old girl, or Donald Trump fucked a guy?
Guy.
Yeah, right. Would be worse. Like they would be able to be like, well, in some states it's legal and like consent of law, blah blah blah. But if you fucked a guy, they would think. But even that, we have reached a point where nothing matters to people if like they have an agenda, they have a guy, they have a cause, they have a team, they have a band, they have whatever their like is and their dislike is. Facts that come out, like or more information, like it does not matter.
Yeah, I think it's a first impressions matter thing, right? Like you're like, I like this person, and then like the world we live in now, every day you're getting a new story about something.
Yeah,
and you kind of just get used to it being like explaining it away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if I think part of Trump's allure to people who kind of like believed he was going to like get rid of the Hollywood pedophiles and get rid of the corrupt politicians, and they like that, right? And that, if someone could do that, that would be like a good thing, right? But then the guy that said he's going to do that, like, is these things.
Yeah, well, what was it? Most accusations are admissions.
Yeah, right. But the fact that people can't just go like, oh shit, like he's one of them too. Fuck, like we have to pivot to someone else, or like I don't like him anymore. Like they just dig their fucking heels in. And it's, I mean, I don't want to make it political because it really is about everything. It's like, your favorite athlete could do something, your favorite team, your favorite anything that people like these days. There is a full blown incapability to just change based on information.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been a long time.
Yeah,
but like it's like everything. I always think about everything that the world's been that way for a while. It's just more obvious now.
We know it because we can see it. Yeah, but like if there was these Epstein tapes are very, like I said, they're more like character witness type of information.
Yeah,
it's not like he's doing anything like illegal, at least on the tapes that are out. But it would be like, I don't really think that guy's a great guy, let alone like should run the country sort of thing, But like, I do wonder, like how far, like Jackie just said, like how far would it need to go? And on the other side too, like what would Kamala Harris need to do for people to be like, okay, never mind, like they're not the right person for this? I don't know. You would have to go. You would need to be like live footage in the middle of Times Square. Fuck a kid. Anything else will be AI, deep fake. Targeting. You're targeting us for the however they explain it away. It's crazy. I just can't believe that. It's like how can you if you're one of those people that's like obsessed about the anything Epstein, and then this comes out and you're just like, well, I don't know. Never mind. Not a big deal. I just can't.
Should we pull up Dante's tweet on the matter?
Yeah, like I wonder what a guy like him is. Did he tweet?
I'm sure he didn't.
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny that it's just, and I guess this is where it is a little. You're in a little bit of a pickle if you are like a hardcore liberal who is like on the other side because Clinton is so attached to him that you can't.
But I also like if that was their reasoning for not bring it up, I think that's dumb. Like I wouldn't say the Clintons been too attached to this campaign.
Yeah, to me, it's like they if anything, you can condemn them too and just be like, yeah, fuck them also.
Yeah.
Whatever, But it is. But I'm also more just talking about like again, politics aside, whoever you vote for, all good. I just can't believe that like you can put out. This should be like a bombshell thing. It was like I didn't even realize by the time I got to it, it was out for 2 days.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this like last Thursday, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, like nothing. And, I mean, you gotta think that guy Michael Wolff was like thinking he was gonna like win the election or sway the election at the last second. He's probably like, nobody cares.
I don't think I don't know what the reasoning behind putting it out, but I agree with you. Where you're like, if you're putting it out now,
it's too late.
It's
way too late. I mean, people have literally already cast their votes. A lot of people. So I don't know if it was one of those things like this is my last chance to get a little bit of juice out of it before he wins or loses. I don't know, but there was also like a direct quote from Bannon, Steve Bannon, there being like, Jeffrey Epstein was the only person I was worried about because he was the only one that could directly torpedo this campaign. So it's like, what more? I mean, there's a reason why he's saying that. Absolutely nuts, man. But it's the same thing, like I said, with like aliens and all the other things. It's like, okay, now here's like read about it and like learn about it, or like here's the proof or the non-proof, and it's like no. We just want to keep yelling about things. Yeah. Let's go. Crazy town. I want to talk to you about this, Jackie. Olivia Rodrigo went viral for her criteria for dating guys. She said she asks them a very specific question, and if they say yes, they're full of themselves and they're out. She says, she asks guys, would you go to space if you were offered the opportunity? And if they say yes, it's a huge red flag. She thinks they're too full of themselves, and you're out.
Yeah, I saw this.
Thoughts?
I love Olivia Rodrigo, but this I was very confused on because I don't really understand what about it is.
I see where she's coming from.
Yeah, I see it.
Like, currently, right now, the people who are actively trying to go to space are egomaniacs and losers. But like, if you ask me, like, would you want to go to space? And I'm like, I don't know. You're sure. Like, I wouldn't be like, I'm not like Bezos where I'm like, it's my goal. I'm destroying mom and pop shops so I can have $100 million for one quick shot to the moon.
But
if it got popular enough and I could just buy a ticket, I'd check out space.
It just became like travel in a way, like a little bit more grand, glamorous travel. I think a better way to describe it would be
crypto guys.
Right. There are quicker ways to get to the kind of person you're looking for.
Yeah, you're asking the like 2 or 3 questions away. But like the next question is like, what crypto coins do you own? And then he starts telling you about his crypto wallet. And you're like, now I don't want to do that.
Yeah, if he speaks about it passionately, no. If he's like,
but you know what I was going to say was, I think a better example would be like, would you get in those submarines to go to the bottom of the ocean? Because that is like, you will probably die doing it. But you're so obsessed with this idea of like, I'm the only one who's done it, or like, you know what I mean? Like those guys are all like, there's no one's ever gone this deep before, or like, I'm the only person that can say that I've done this, and the only reason you do that is to come back up to the surface and say that shit, and you're willing to risk like you and your son's life, where you just get imploded in like 2 seconds. Whereas like space is relatively, it is kind of dangerous, but it's like, you probably could go up there and it would be all right.
Yeah.
But it's more like, are you how far are you willing to go to just be I did that asshole?
I mean, like, you could do it on planet Earth with like zero gravity, but like, I'd be like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Like, we're floating. Like, that doesn't happen in the submarine.
There's some cool. You get a better view. You see you get to float around.
Submarine. You don't see anything. It's just black. You might be lucky enough to see a fish swim by.
You know what?
No, but there's so many. I could like get down with it because there's so many crazy animals. Like at the
but you're not
ocean.
like, unless you have a farm of them down there. Like, I'm just hoping there's a 1 in a million chance some fish I've never seen swims by.
Yeah,
that's so true.
At least the space, I get to see like
the view of Earth
from the top.
So it's flat and all that. Did she catch heat for this, or are the women like slay?
I think that she caught some heat for it. I think like a lot of what I saw is a lot of women were like, wait, I would want to go to space. So, like, this is not.
Well, that is where I was wondering, like, that she gendered space is what she did. And we don't gender things here.
Yeah.
Space is definitely a dude thing.
100%.
But, I mean, currently, you got the Musk, the Bezos. Like,
no, but I just mean, like, you know how, like, cats are girls and dogs are boys.
Yeah.
Space is a boy thing.
I would. Yeah, I guess like I don't think me and my sisters discussed space too much as a kid. Although I wasn't really much of a space guy either.
You're
like,
a chick.
You're
You're gay. But like that's where I think like the women who are like astronauts or into science and shit are probably like almost offended by that in a way. But I do think of space as like a dude thing.
I see what she's getting at, and she's trying to target the annoying group of men.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I don't think it was executed. I don't think that question is a very.
I
like,
space, but I don't think I'd go. I think I'm the
So,
opposite.
I think
I'm
like-
fascinated by it, but I'm like, I could watch that shit from afar. I don't need to. It's hard to go to space. I don't think you can just like go to space. I think you have to be in like decent amount of shape and like not train for it, but like prepare for it. And
Yeah, so
I don't think it's that hard.
you think you just throw someone? I guess Shatner went, right. Yeah, he was like 90.
I think the threshold to get. I hope you can get to space.
Well, there's also like differences in like some of these guys just like pop like right above the border and then come down. Like if you get up into orbit and you're like floating around and shit like you're talking about, I think you got to like prepare for.
Oh, to like go live on the space station.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
even
like,
to just, like,
the
be
little
on
Blue
it.
Origin stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I think
that's
they're taking
it's literally
anybody. Yeah.
But even that, I feel like there's some level of like, I don't like when my ears pop on the airplane. And we're probably going like three times that, right? Like, to me, it's.
Do you think that Olivia Rodrigo or Sabrina Carpenter is more famous?
I was waiting to say that. Yeah,
more
in fact,
famous?
I had this
Sorry.
debate all weekend.
Yeah. I've also had this debate all
I
weekend.
think it's
You said more famous is the question?
More famous.
Yeah.
I thought Olivia Rodrigo was like gonna be the next one,
I
and then I
know.
think she got. I don't know if to me, from my viewpoint, as soon as she caught a lot of those plagiarizing hits, I feel like she kind of like disappeared for a little bit because I thought she was like gonna be the one, and now I think Sabrina Carpenter has.
I also think
She's on stage with Taylor. She's like clearly
Yeah.
Taylor's like in the Swiftie crowd, which I think makes you be that much more famous.
I think it's Chapel Roan's the one.
Chaperone's the one.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Olivia
yeah.
Rodrigo just never made music for the radio. I think she just made.
I think Chapel Roan's gonna flame out.
Really?
I don't know.
She's-
I was saying on
I
SNL,
thought
it
maybe
was-
her SNL. Pink.
it's
crazy.
I texted you. I
Let's go watch it right away.
It was like I texted you like midnight. I was like, Chapel Roan is burning down.
Wait,
30
did
Rock.
she hosted or performed?
Performed.
Performed.
The second song I wasn't.
When she
so,
canceled all those
so-
It's like her
shows,
new
I was
song,
kinda-
I think.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Although
Although I think I kind of like the juxtaposition. I think it's about eating pussy, but it's like
Yeah.
country twang.
Is it the country? Yeah.
That's kind of cool. But like the Pink Pony Club performance
Yeah,
was
that
a
was-
smash.
I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
when we drove to Jersey, it was Owen Fights and I, and then Pig Pony Club came on for like the fourth time, and I was like, it just keeps getting better.
Owen has a playlist of like 5 songs. We listened to like 5 songs. We drove in the
For the
car
past
for
3
4
months,
hours
too.
that day.
3 months, he's played the same 5 songs.
The video of Taylor and Sabrina Carpenter on the stage together, I thought I thought my eyeballs were like out of whack
How come?
because she's so tall, and
small,
Sabrina
yeah.
Carpenter also wears those dresses that like cut off. Like that looks ridiculous.
That looks crazy.
That looks like it's like AI or something.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
crazy. I also think that one line, all because I liked a boy, like fucked Olivia Rodrigo's. But
What did
here's
she say?
like Sabrina's. There was like the whole Olivia versus
they
Sabrina
were
feud.
kinda, it was a boy
because there was
like
over a boy
Right. Forgot about that.
who also is like bi, and I feel like if he were to use that line, all because I liked a boy, that would be such
Who
a good
is this?
PR.
Shawn Mendes?
No, not Shawn Mendes.
But also
Similar
yeah.
guy.
Well, the reason I thought that because he just had
Joshua
like,
Bassett, I guess.
I don't know him, but Shawn Mendes had like this weekend.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm still figuring out my sexuality or whatever.
Bro,
Really?
he did?
Yeah.
Bro, let me help you out, Sean.
Yeah,
Mendes.
yeah.
Let me and the entire world for the last decade help you figure it out. You're
It's
bi.
like we know, yeah.
Like, you're into dudes. It's okay. I mean, like that. If Shawn Mendes came out, I think people would be like, "Cool, man."
I don't even know what he
I
did.
think that announcement
I
would
thought
get
he
like
was,
a like a
I don't know
dozen,
who
like
Shawn
10
Mendes
retweets.
is, except for the guy who's not sure if he's straight or gay.
No, he had some bangers. He had some heaters
you
with
could
Camila
definitely
Cabello.
play songs that I'd be like, oh, I know that song.
I actually
I thought he
I
already
thought he was really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He hasn't followed it up with much because I think he's just busy trying to figure out if he's gay or not.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's like Elaine in with George. You're bald.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, you're gay, Sean. Just do it, man.
I already thought that he had like kind of come out. So this isn't, like,
that is wild to me.
shocked me.
Dude, speaking of SNL, Mulaney's opening bit in his thing, he just described my life.
Wait, what was it again?
He's talking about how he's old and he has to go to a physical therapist. But the only difference is he goes with 2 older women. I didn't go with anyone. And he's like, I have a torn labrum in my hip. And I go and I have to do little sit-ups with older women.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
And the physical therapist has told me that it's probably not worth it for me because I'm just going to need a new hip. And he's like, I'm going to need a new hip, and my mom's going to pick me up from the surgery. I was like, that's great. It's just my life right now.
Dude, my brother got hip surgery, and all my shit, by the way, turned out to be a staph infection.
It's all good?
I mean, it's not all. We're still getting there, but like, I don't know. We probably could have like saved the worst 10 days of my goddamn life if they just like figured out that it was an infection and gave me an IV of antibiotics.
It's so funny that you told this story with that. Like, I thought that you were gonna end up being like, and by the way, like, it wasn't anything to worry about and it's all cleared up. But you were like, anyways, I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah. At that point, like, I mean, I think just because of where it was, everyone thought it was like an STD, and then that came back negative, and then they like took longer to get the results. But I don't know. I've heard of staph infection before, and I thought, and it is, I can tell you, it's bad. But I thought when you have a staph infection, like, you're in like trouble, like it's dangerous.
Yeah, I had a friend who was in the hospital for like a month.
Yeah, I think if it gets to MRSA, the S in MRSA, I think is staph.
Yeah.
So it's like something resistant staph. So it's like when the antibiotics aren't fixing the staph infection and you're in trouble. And so when I heard that, I was like, now I'm like a little nervous, like, but it was like, they gave me like a antifungal cream. They're like, yeah, this will fix it. It's like, they gave me an antibiotic for a bacterial infection and then prescribed me a fungus cream. And I was like, those are different fucking things, guys. And I'm not a goddamn doctor. How am I? Totally botched job. But more importantly, it was just like, they were asking me, did you get injured? Did you get cut? Did you go outdoors? Do you like hike? Are you in the spots where there's bacteria and you could get injured and blah blah blah? And I was like, none of that. But I don't know. You just get old and shit happens to you.
Like my brother was texting the same me, pants a few days in a row.
Yeah, that's probably it. But like, I'm texting my brother like, how's his hip surgery? And he's asking me like, how's my skin infection? I'm just like, it's just when you're younger, there's just less time for shit to have happened to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're just like, you're old, your body's breaking down, but it's also just like, eventually bad shit's going to happen to you. You just got to be on the earth for 40 more years. Yeah. You've only been around for 20 years. By the time you're on, for another 15, some shit's going to happen. It sucks. I just sent you an Instagram story that I posted, though. Can you put that on the because as much as you might be Mulaney, I think this monkey more describes John. Because I found this monkey on Instagram, and not only was it the video that jumped out at me, but the caption. It was from the Instagram account Beautiful World. Did
your uncle with monkey alerts send it to you?
No, but we did get one recently.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
What did he say? He's good for like literally 1 week, huh?
Oh, multiple.
Yeah.
Infinite monkey theorem challenged by Australian mathematicians.
Infinite monkey theorem?
Yeah, let's see. Monkeys will never type Shakespeare, study finds. I always thought that was weird anyway. I didn't know what that meant. Wait. The whole like, if you put a bunch of monkeys in front of a computer, they'll eventually type Hamlet.
Yeah.
Like, no, they won't.
I know. They said that it's just like...
We haven't even fucking put a deck of cards in the same order it's ever been in before. Like, we're going to type Hamlet?
Wait, what does that even mean?
It's just like, I think that's almost more to describe how long like infinity is, where it's like if they just mash buttons, eventually they will mash in the right order to write all of Hamlet. I genuinely do not think that's true. Like, even if it's infinity, even if it's 100 billion years, like at one point, some monkey's gonna hit the wrong fucking key. Look at this monkey just eating his fucking ice cream, and the caption is: "An elderly monkey sits calmly, savoring a stick of ice cream with peaceful contentment. Its wise, weathered face softens with each bite, clearly enjoying the simple treat. This quiet moment reflects a sense of tranquility, as if the world around fades away, leaving just the monkey and its cool, sweet indulgence." And I was like, Take out monkey and put in John. That is his. And everybody's like, life isn't so bad. Oh, maybe I will survive another day. I'm going to have another one of this.
Bro, I don't know if you saw I replied to you. I was like, this morning I rolled over. First thing I did was I grabbed a peanut butter cup. And then second thing I did was grab my phone. And I looked at my phone and saw that. And I was like, I'm chewing a peanut butter cup right now. Like 8 o'clock in the morning.
The way he's sitting, just like, yup, this is delicious.
Fully in bed, just like, good peanut butter cup.
It is like the way that I feel like when you're eating, there's some people like it looks like they're focused on the food. Some people like it looks like they're focused on like other things, and you look like there's no thoughts in your head when you eat specifically, and that's what this monkey looks like.
But that's what I look like all the time.
No, because like sometimes you're sitting there and you could tell that there's stuff you're having conversations in your head, but then it seems to all kind of vanish. When,
Well, I
I don't know. It's a very specific thing.
It's like your nirvana. It's
like honest to God, it's like eating is an incredible pleasure.
It's the best.
Why are you doing the name?
I'm trying to point at the TV. Eating is an incredible pleasure. Like
the Nate hands. By the way, just for people, you have to cup them.
Yeah.
Cup them a little bit. It's not just you're not Italian talking with your hands. You have to squeeze your fingers together and your thumb, and you just make a little bit of a cup.
I also just watched the wrist guards clip. Do you remember that at all? That was one of my favorite clips of KFC Radio.
No.
Like the guy who like said he fucked Obama.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if like I found it. Just on my
but Nate is kind of like imagine if he's. But anyway, continue. Yes,
but there's no difference between like eating and having sex. Like what do you think about when you're having sex?
Yeah,
nothing. How good this feels.
Food lasts longer.
I'm like, oh, this is fucking unbelievable, dude. Like, that's how I eat. I eat like I fuck. I lay there and I enjoy it.
All these you see how like these women, these moms are like banding together to get rid of the unhealthy foods in America because of like Red 40 and all those like the extra things we put in.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I know that. Yes.
So like. If you get like Fruit Loops in like Australia and the United Kingdom, even like our version of that is like even worse.
Yeah,
like they have it's still like a sugary cereal, but they're like we're not gonna put the poisons in there,
Right.
But I'm also like, I think that makes it the good, Like I think the reason why those food experiences you're having, I think are probably the poisons.
I
don't think Australia people run around being like it's like fucking, it's like sex, like it's like breakfast to them.
I've said that before. 40. I went to a farm in Portugal where they like slaughtered the cow
on the spot
like an hour ago, and then they bring us the meat. And I was like, this fucking sucks. This is terrible. I can't taste any pesticides in here.
Yeah.
Like,
give me the process, whatever makes you be able to ship across a 3,000 mile
no preservatives.
Country.
Like,
organic fruit sucks. So bad.
Sucks, man.
Grass-fed beef, like from Trader Joe's, stinks.
Bro, you ever seen the grass-fed, like, what we think it means versus what it really means?
No.
Like, God, I thought grass-fed was like, you're just out there roaming the fields, eating grass. No. You're still tied up in a factory. They just dump grass on your head. Like it was crazy, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, that is not what I thought grass-fed meant. Just a fucking truck dumps a ton of grass. And it's like, like it is. You're trying to catch grass.
The only reason you're eating it is because you would drown in it otherwise. This cow wouldn't be able to breathe, so it had to eat all the grass.
I was like,
and then we kill it.
I wish I didn't see that. That's disappointing.
R.I.P. to Peanut. You hear about Peanut the Squirrel?
I've heard about this a little bit.
No. It's P''nut.
What I understand, it all makes a pretty good deal of sense. Is that
no? I don't. Well, here's what happened. So first of all, the fact that this all leads back to OnlyFans. I don't know if you guys know that. This couple, they're all tatted up. The girl looks like a blonde Bonnie Rotten, and they fuck on OnlyFans.
Okay,
and they were using their pet squirrels to funnel all their traffic to OnlyFans, which is just fucking hilarious.
Wait, they were what?
Like they have a pet squirrel that went viral, and then on that account they would be like, check out this, and it was their OnlyFans.
Okay, I see.
Which is just like the internet, like in a nutshell, where it's like this animal went viral, you ran the account for it, and you use it to make money on your fuck site. It's just this is 2024 in a nutshell. But so these guys, these two, have a like an animal sanctuary.
Okay,
they have like 300 animals on their property, and this one Peanut the Squirrel went like super viral because it's like a pet. They put it in costumes and it's like having like a little dog, and they believe that once people found out that they were using it to promote OnlyFans, there was like anonymous tips being like, these are they're like mistreating these animals, or like there's like some illegal shit going on. So then they went to the to like their property and were fucking around with Peanut, and Peanut bit one of the cops apparently.
Right.
And the cop was like, we need to, I might get rabies, and they put him down. But I don't think they should have been in there in the first place, the cops.
But if people file complaints about animal mistreatment, you got to investigate it.
Yeah, but I don't think there was any. Like this I think Peanut is living the fucking dream.
But you got to investigate it.
I guess, but if you roll, it's like well, no, I was gonna make a comparison that is not true at all. But if you go in and you botch your fucking investigation,
but I don't know if they botched it. The squirrel bit him.
Well, yeah, if you fucking roll up and you start fucking with some animals, they're gonna bite you.
I think it's
like
fair.
They're just living on a farm. It's like,
I think if you get calls about animal mistreatment, you should investigate them. And then if you get bit by something, you got to check if there's rabies.
I think there was but I think the problem was there was a raccoon that they searched that for me. Because I think that's what happened is they had a raccoon and people didn't like that. But then it's like, all right, fine, get rid of the raccoon. Let Peanut live, bro. like, don't fuck with the, it's like, he's not executed by the state. It's crazy. They've raised $150,000.
Yeah. Oh, they're obviously scam artists.
No, but more the fact that people are donating, dude.
Yeah, I mean that's
like what do you even donate? They were like we're gonna spend this money on like an animal sanctuary. It's like, yeah, fucking right, dude. And I wouldn't even blame them if I had a pet squirrel and somebody killed it, and all of a sudden money was rolling in like that, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to like the Squirrel Society, bro. Sure. If you guys want to give me 100, let's read the fucking 7-year-old Peanut and Fred the raccoon were euthanized. Officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I sat there like a criminal after being interrogated. My wife checked out her immigration status, then proceeded, that might be something too, there might be political shit going on here, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house looking for a squirrel and a raccoon. They got a search warrant for departments, and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon, and they took them and killed them. There's something more going on here.
Well, I think the big thing is it bit someone, and you have to find out if the animal has rabies. I think you should kill a squirrel.
No, but I don't think the
only way to do that is to kill it.
The guy that got bit was the police during the raid.
Right.
But don't fucking raid my house.
But if
the Peanut was running around biting people, then I understand that. But they're just on their animal sanctuary. You can't just make some shit up, then have a police raid go bad and kill my animals.
I think you can. I think if a person gets bit and might get rabies, you got to find out if it has rabies.
No, it got bit because of the raid, though. It's not like that's fucking your fault.
But it's still got. I mean, you can't let a person get rabies. You got to find out if the animal has rabies.
I think you're totally wrong on this one. You come in my house and fuck with my shit, and then you kill my shit because.
Well, I'm not saying it's good, but you got to find out if the animal has rabies. It's an unfortunate circumstance.
You figure out you have rabies, bro. You got bit. Do you have rabies? Leave my fucking animal alone.
The only way to figure that out, you have to cut off the head of the.
Yeah, you check the brain.
Let the fucking get. You got to cut off your head now, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, me and my family, we're good. No rabies here. If you think you have it, you can chop your fucking head off.
I will side with the life of a human over a squirrel.
Yeah,
I'll take that brave stance.
But also, I don't think there's any reason to think that this animal that is on fucking camera all the time has rabies. Like this thing is a viral sensation. I don't think a rabid squirrel would have a huge social media presence.
I don't know. I don't know. I think.
Why would you think that animal has rabies?
So wait. So are you saying they like went to go kill the police were like we're gonna go kill Peanut?
I don't know why they did. I don't know why any of this is happening. I don't know why anybody called them in the first place. Just let these weirdos fucking have pet squirrels.
I think every step is logical.
I think it's insane to bother these people. I think you guys are crazy. These people just live on a farm with a bunch of animals and they fuck. It actually sounds like a delightful life.
But if you get a bunch of calls saying, I don't know how.
I could just make that up. Why? What?
But you have to investigate calls.
Why?
That's what the police do.
Yeah, but then
like
if you
job.
botch the investigation,
I
that's
think
like,
botching the investigation is a little strong.
John's in the house committing crimes, and then they roll in there and they fucking shoot you, and it's like, well, we had to investigate it.
But
nope, somebody called. Somebody said there was something going on in there.
They waited to shoot me until I bit them.
Well, if they were fucking rolling up on your shit for no reason,
what's going on in this house? And then I fucking bit them. Then they shot me.
If they were like, if they thought John had rabies, I mean, there's no reason to think any of this. Just leave people alone. Why the fuck are the cops running up in someone's house?
But that's what cops do when they get calls. There's a crime
I think you're very wrong, by the way. I don't think you can just call and then have, you know what I mean, just because somebody calls and says something.
I don't know.
Like you go up and you look and be like, I don't know, he's making a bunch of videos of this fucking...
I don't know all the steps here, but it feels like someone called the police, and then the police investigated, and a police officer got bit, and they had to find out if it had rabies. Like, I get all those steps.
He's not, like, trained in, like, squirrel.
Yeah, I wouldn't go around touching fucking animals. I would not be fucking with these animals.
I don't want to have a strong stance because I'm learning about this now. But
don't you just like test yourself for rabies?
No, you have to. It's your brain. You have to check the brain. If you have rabies, there's no way to find out until you have until you start being like afraid of water and shit.
The only like way to stay alive.
But whether or not, so like if I get bit by an animal with rabies, it doesn't matter. I still have to get treated for rabies, right? I don't like if they find out the animal has rabies. It's like
I think there's a point where it's like once you feel symptoms, it's too late. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
so. Like we gotta whack this guy now. But why wouldn't you just get treated for rabies? Like if I got bit by a random animal, I'd be like, just give me the rabies shit now, just in case.
Yeah,
I'd rather get ahead of that one than wait for the peanut.
I don't know here too. I'm also part of my reasoning here is. I'm just going to take the word of the people who are not on the side of the OnlyFans farmer owners. I feel like they're probably in it for attention.
I do think it's like, okay, you're like, it's all about the phrasing. Like if you're getting famous for this animal and you also have an OnlyFans, it's like the same as like if you got famous for one thing and then you want to sell merch, like I don't know why anybody's bothering these people at all. Yeah, like I don't think it's a crime to like unless they're literally using the squirrel in their OnlyFans.
Now that might be a problem.
That's a problem. But if you're having separate fame and you're like, oh, well, by the way, if you like us, we also have an OnlyFans. You might like that
if
content.
If you like this squirrel in a cowboy hat, boy,
I got something for you.
I don't know. There could be like a crossover. I don't think that's
honestly, it shows just how like horny people are. Where it's like, oh, like I love this. This is a cute animal account. Wait a minute, I can watch somebody fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, $9.99 a month. Like, okay. I'm good. I'll get my peanut fix over here. And my
so how did they end up there? How did it all start?
Like I also want to say,
why were the police called? Peanut, known for his cowboy hat. 6 different officers from the Javento came to his door, seizing Peanut.
See, like even that, like them using the word raid first, 6 cops showed up. That's a different thing.
I think 6 cops showing up in your house is pretty fucking aggressive.
When I hear raid, I'm thinking like a raid.
I mean, I guess so, but I think 6 police officers showing up for a fucking squirrel is insanity. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I'm sure, again, since we're using words that are inflammatory, I would guess like...
Why did the authorities take Peanut? The DEC said it launched an investigation involving reports of potentially unsafe housing of wildlife that could carry rabies and the illegal keeping of wildlife as pets. Longo claims that Peanut, who was unfit for the release due to lack of survival skills, was being... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like these people just have like a bunch of weird pets.
Maybe it started just like... Cause
also, you can see, like... I mean, I guess if it's one of those things where it's like he's behind the scenes, like whipping Peanut, like get in front of the camera, and even then it's like
it seems like it's no different than like owning a monkey. Like I don't know what pets are legal to own and what pets aren't, but
a monkey can like rip you and other people's faces off.
I'm not saying I agree with the law. I'm just saying it seems like it's an illegal pet.
Yeah, Fred the raccoon was also part of this. I think the raccoon was probably more the issue.
Yeah.
I bet people don't like raccoons. I don't think people have a problem with squirrel.
But if they seem happy.
How do you like catch one and domesticate it?
Oh, my buddy's dad used to catch
Really?
squirrels
Yeah,
all the time.
My
what do you
my
do?
grandfather
it's
used
like
to
a squirrel trap.
Oh,
But then how do you make it like you?
I don't know.
food. My
Fuck on camera
my
in front of it.
grandfather used to my grandfather used to just like he would like sit at the park and just like hold peanuts and fucking squirrels.
Yeah,
would
I think
come
it's
up
pretty
to
easy.
I think they're pretty food motivated, and then you just bring them in the house and be like, if you wear this hat, I'll give you more nuts.
Yeah.
It's like put on this cowboy hat and you can have some more peanuts. Peanut. Justice for Peanut. Justice for this couple. Fuck the police.
I also want to say, like, I'm not anti-Peanut, but, like, I do understand the order of operations.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Peanut seems like a perfectly pleasant squirrel, but like every step, I'm like, that makes sense.
Nobody ever calls the police on you guys, and I hope if they do that, you guys get shot. You'll be like, well, I don't know, someone called the police on me. This is how it happens, folks. First it's Peanut, and then it's Black Americans. Yeah, that's right. You guys are pro. You guys are pro. What you're telling me is you're pro police shooting, is what you are. Breonna Stewart, John, and Jackie are like, fuck that girl.
But
Somebody call the police.
If like somebody like called the cops on me, and then I like came and injected them with a needle.
What if it was a dog? What if they just?
If my dog bit a cop, I'd be like, you probably can't do that, dude.
If the police showed up at your house, if
the
police showed up at your house, and Maddie, when she was alive, bit a cop and they killed her, you wouldn't just be like, well, I don't know, the cops came, man.
I wouldn't be thrilled, but I'd be like, I get it. The dog bit you.
You guys are nuts.
No, like. I just like I don't like I get the fear of having like rabies, of having like an animal bite you that typically has rabies.
If my dog
like,
barked and then they shot it, I'd be pretty unhappy. If it bit him, I'd be like, I get it.
We could be pretty sure that Fred and Peanut, who are probably more famous than all of us, don't have rabies. And I think you would know
but
if these animals have fucking rabies.
They're typically animals that like that rabies.
They have rabies vaccines and they get
that
shots.
have rabies, but dogs don't.
They're on camera all the time.
Like, that's why you're not supposed to domesticate.
We just don't see them having rabies. On camera, they would be rabid animals.
But you could get rabies last week.
Sure, I guess.
Just because an OnlyFans model's on
I guess so.
camera
I guess that these animals that probably live better lives than us inside of the house would get rabies randomly. I guess that could happen, yes.
But it's like just because an OnlyFans model is on OnlyFans doesn't mean that they don't have an STD. I don't know if that really... Like,
I see where you're going.
Yeah. I see the order of operations there.
Like before an OnlyFans model fucks an OnlyFans model, they don't say, I saw you fuck on OnlyFans, you're clean. They go, let me see your test.
Yeah. It's like you gotta make just
like rabies just like falls out of their kitchen. Fucking you open up the fridge.
But they go
rabies.
outside.
I don't really think they do. I think they live on their fucking sanctuary.
Outside. Why are you defending this? That squirrel never leaves the house.
I just don't think that. Like there's you guys are acting like rabid animals are like falling all from the sky all over the place.
I'm not, but it's possible.
Well, like I would say,
I guess it's randomly possible. But if you killed my fucking money-making squirrel, my like super famous money-making squirrel, because just like there's a 0.001% chance he has rabies, I'd be like, fuck you guys and fuck the police.
The guy's got reason to be upset about it, but he can't say they were acting. Right, he does. He can't say they were acting irrationally.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty irrational to run up on someone and then they bite you, and you're like, you probably have rabies.
You're talking about a person you keep saying someone. It's a squirrel.
It's a pet. It's a pet. It's a pet.
You can't just run up on someone.
This squirrel has more value than like 50% of the human population.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'm treating it like that. This squirrel has a job. This squirrel provides. This squirrel is probably cleaner than most humans.
Maybe.
And now he's fucking dead because of the goddamn corrupt police.
Rabies from being dirty, though.
Apparently, you just get rabies from going outside, according to John. I don't know. I'm going to go outside today. I might get rabies.
But the reason
be careful.
The reason you don't.
Maybe if she chopped my head off, I went outside today. I might have
No,
rabies.
the reason you don't domesticate a squirrel.
I went outside. You can get rabies.
But the reason you don't domesticate a squirrel is because they're prone to rabies.
But once they're domesticated, they're not getting rabies.
But
They're domesticated when they're like wild
What
animals
do you
out of
think
the street.
domesticated means?
Like it lives in the house with them.
But it goes outside. It's an animal.
But just like a dog goes outside. It's not
if
like
it
living
goes-
in a
no, but
dog
if it
has a rabies vaccine.
If it goes
The
out-
squirrel
Yeah,
I'm
doesn't.
sure they're taking care of their fucking pets that make the money.
I
if it
think
goes
I think
out
the
and it
people who
hangs
killed
with
it
its
Chances
have
of squirrels having rabies is very low.
Okay.
So then you shouldn't be able to kill this fucking squirrel. That is way more important. You're acting like it's just a regular squirrel.
Dude, you're acting like it's the president.
Because, this squirrel.
It is a random squirrel, man. It just has an Instagram account.
Yes.
It's a random
Bro,
fucking squirrel.
It's making them so much money. This is like a famous fucking animal. It doesn't matter that it's a squirrel or a dog or whatever it is. It's a fucking important.
I can't tell if we're even having a serious discussion right now.
This is
What's happening?
This is the president of the squirrels. This is the most important squirrel in the
Can't
world.
kill that squirrel. He's got an Instagram.
This is the most important squirrel. Jorfoss is the most important squirrel on the planet Earth.
But if you're
I don't know. I heard about the squirrel 10 minutes ago. I don't have a strong
Do you
opinion
know?
on it.
Can you name me one other squirrel in the world? Give me another squirrel that even has a name, Jackie.
no, you're
No,
so
you can't. It's the most important squirrel in the world today.
Why are you sucking the squirrel's dick so hard? He if you get bit by a squirrel and you're like, I have a wife and kids and I need to not die.
Bro, there's no reason to think this guy has rabies.
This guy
He keeps calling it someone in this guy.
He's more important. Yes, he deserves. You guys need to put some respect on Peanut's name.
I will say, like, I don't think I'm being very respectful of Peanut, but like,
Yeah, you're not. You guys have no respect for
But
Peanut
now- but you-
or their
the
own,
more
or his family. Now, I was
the more
about to
that
say
you
owner.
claim-
I'm not even going to say owner. I'm going to say family, mother and father.
the more you cling to Peanut, the more like I want to like, I don't know.
I hope you guys get shot by cops for fear of rabies because you've been outside before. Fucking assholes. I hope you're all
This
dead.
is one of the wildest segments. I can't tell how serious you are. I think you're pretty serious. Like what the fuck happened to Peanut?
I'm 50-50.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, if it was up, like I wish the squirrel didn't die. I get why it did.
I just think there's
But if he goes
there's more recourse
and he hangs out
to before you kill a very famous squirrel.
There's
more
clout
recourse.
chasing. You keep talking about how famous you. This guy had so many Instagram accounts.
If I had a pet that was making me money like that, and I was treating it right, and then you
How
fuck
much
with
mon-
me,
how
and
much
then you
money
say it has rabies.
was Peanut bringing in?
I don't know,
I've never heard of it before.
They were trying to not associate it with the OnlyFans as much. There was one quote that was like, "Listen, did Peanut like drive a lot of subscribers to our OnlyFans? Yes, he did. Like, is that part of is that why we loved him? No, it's not. It was very like, yeah. He makes us money because we fuck on the side, but." I'm.
Is it illegal to own a squirrel? Like, could he?
I'm sure that's probably what it was. I'm sure people were like, we don't like that. I'm almost.
That I mean, I don't.
There
agree
also
with that
wasn't there
because-
something in there about his wife's immigration? That's what I was like. I don't know. There's something going on here about these people. Yeah, illegal immigrants. Oh yeah, this is the whole dogs and cats thing. So you guys are just animal killing Trump supporters at this point, who are pro police, pro Trump, and murdering animals.
I said, yeah, it sounds like. Have you seen the videos of this squirrel? He's a genius.
This is Kevin.
Maybe I'm the Trump supporter now.
This is the smartest squirrel. Like, what are we talking about?
The craziest thing.
Well, I don't want to be in a foxhole or a squirrel hole with you guys. That's for sure.
I'll take the
I
brave
think that
stance
you would
of
change your tune real fast if a squirrel bit you.
Well, if I ever get put down for rabies, for potential rabies, I've decided, even though I'm Christian, we're going to sit Shiva. We're going to sit Shiva the way that the Kamin family did it, because I think they had their like religious Shiva at the house. But the Shiva that I went to was a full blown Irish wake, because I actually, as I was driving up to the spot was when I don't know why it took me so long to like think about what I was literally going to do. I just was so like, I love the story so much. This is very tragic, but what came out of it was like very funny and very like wholesome. So I was like, I got to do this. Of course, I'm going to do it and like see it through. But then I was like, as I was driving in, I was like, well, what do I literally do right now? Like, what do I say? Where do I go? You know, whatever. So I'm driving up. It's this beautiful country club, and so I get in there, and there's like a woman, like a receptionist desk kind of, and I ask where the Kamin family Shiva is, and she's like, it's right upstairs, and it was rocking. Like I could, see and basically hear it. I was like, oh man, this is like a fucking scene. So I was like, is there a bathroom? And she said, like right before you get in the room is there's a bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm in the stall, and there's two guys outside. One guy's at the urinal, one guy's like washing at the sink, and I hear them say like something to the effect of like, that podcast segment was crazy. Like I heard the guy is actually coming, and the other guy was like, no way, he's actually coming like here tonight. And so I like kick out the door, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm here, because I was like, I kept thinking, now that I don't know what's worse, it being like a small family thing where I can walk in and be like, oh, there are the kids that I know, or now I gotta like walk around this whole fucking party until I find them.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, is it you? Is it you? So this guy, I remember I met so many people. I don't know if it was an uncle or a family friend or whatever. He like grabs me like by the back of the neck, kind of like, he goes, do you mind if I walk in with you? And I was like, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. We walk into this room, and he goes, like, puts his hands up, and he's like, attention, everybody, excuse me, like, quiet down. Like, he's here. Look, he's here. And the reception I got, not even at like our biggest live show, not even at Comedy Central, the Super Bowls, whatever I've ever done in my career, double it. It was like I was a A-list superstar. The amount of phones that just popped up in the crowd. I can't wait to like get that footage, because I think I was like, oh my God. Like I didn't know what to expect, but I did not expect this. And then it was just a like parade of this family being like, I thought, I was like, I think this is a nice thing that I'm doing, and it sounds like he was a real fan, and like, maybe it's providing a little bit of comedic relief during a tough time. They were like, you do not understand like what you've done for this family. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, but I'm just like, just showing up to your party basically. Within like 5 minutes, I had a Bud Light in my hand. We did vodka shots. They're drinking martinis. Everybody's just like, telling stories about this dude.
I think Owen had friends there.
Really?
Because someone was like, I was telling Owen about it Thursday, and he was like, oh, someone told me they were doing vodka shots with Kevin the other night. And I was like, wait, at the live show? And I was like, no, he was doing them the next night too, or 2 nights later, whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely like a group of young guys at one point who like eventually I kind of like settled in with for a few minutes that were like, they know. They're asking about like what's going on with the Tate thing, and like they know all of the Barstool stories, or whatever. But the amount of like old Jewish family members that were coming up to me being like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what you're doing, but like I don't know who you are or what you do, but you're doing such a mitzvah for us. I got you're a mensch and you're doing a mitzvah 1,000 times. It felt so good. I was like, I'm doing at one point I said to someone, I was like, yeah, they keep telling me I did a mitzvah, and he's like, no, you're doing a mitzvah.
Yeah. Little do they know we've constructed a golem here.
Does it make your dick rash feel like you're doing something?
Staph infection, by the way. It's a staph infection. My life was on the line. Put me down. Get the authorities involved. Does it make me feel what about it? Just
like you're doing, like you're helping a family heal because of it. I would kind of be like, did you have to give me the dick rash? Like if God or whoever was like
part of me thinks that there was a little bit of like fate for me to be intertwined with this family for some reason.
Yeah, it's like
we could have done it with elbow. I like twisted my knee playing with my kids or something. I need like an MRI.
You wouldn't have gone to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
You're only going for your dick.
That's exactly what I was
I'm only going for my dick.
That's a great point.
Everything else now.
That's a great point because
God's like, I know what we have to do.
There's only one way I can get him there. It's like Doctor Strange. There's like 14 million different injuries I could have. There's only one that's going to get him to the hospital on that moment, on that night. Because when I did go to the City MD, the doctor was like, you need to go to the ER. And I was like, fuck, if you're saying that and it's about this, I gotta go. And then it just made it all the more funny because there was so many people that were like hugging me and shaking my hands, but also being like, are we good here? Like, how's your dick and balls? I mean, like old family members. There was like the grandma and mothers and, you know, women in the family coming up to me and like, and how's your rash? I was like, oh my God. Looking back on it, I think you said in the group chat, like, I never would have offered that information up. Looking back on it, I really just let that one fly.
Oh, you gotta let that fly. It's funny.
Yeah, but also, you know, that's what I mean. That's how we think. I think 99.9% of the population would be like, I'm not going to talk about the weird skin disease on my dick.
Yeah, I mean,
once I knew it wasn't an STD, I was a little more like, I'm not gonna talk about it. It's
My
still
skin's
gross, but I'm not like, hey, I've got herpes on my dick. You know? So once I knew it was that, but yeah, there was, you know. Put it this way: if I did not run into this family and have this story, I don't think I would have come into the podcast and just been like, got a weird thing on my dick. But it made it that much more funny that they were going through this like horrible, tragic thing while I'm just like worried about my junk.
And because you talked about it, then they invited you to the
right. That's kind of why. So this dude was like, you know, the ultimate, like huge. He was buried, I think, in a Patriots and Red Sox like gear of some sort. Like loved Barstool. We're talking like, you know, he was.
Oh man, I hope he got to watch the comeback. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did. He probably missed it, but he lived it.
Yeah.
He lived it. So yeah, I mean, it was that family, like the reaction I got was like, you would have thought it saved him or something. You would have thought he's still alive and it's because of me. I want to be like, it's, you know, we still are here for Steve, who's gone. But whatever, I guess anytime you can make it a little bit easier for the people going through that. But I mean, just like the best family, like his sister came over to me and we were talking, and then her other brother came over. And she was like, where the fuck have you been? People have been asking for you. Were you late? Where are you? I thought I had a second dead brother. And I was like, I love you guys. This is great. She's like, are you fucking dead too? What's going on here? Every single interaction I had was like something like that, like busting my balls or making light of like, you know, a horrible, I mean, super, he was like 52 or 53, I think. So like super out of nowhere tragedy. But they are, they're like the best. They're gonna start a foundation in his name for I think like youth sports or something like that. He was like a coach and all that. So there's, I feel like I'll, you know, be a part of that or be kind of involved in their.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool. I was like, I've always kind of wanted to do like something like that, like with a charity or with a foundation, and we do the fundraisers, and there was the Barstool Fund during COVID, but like you can't. It's hard to just like pick one. You know what I mean? You either have to...
You kind of got to fall into it.
Yeah, or like, you know, your family member has a disease, or you have the disease, or, you know, something happens, and then you have a reason to be a part of it. And now I kind of just have this, you know, a more, you know, it's a kind of like cheat code of a way to get into it and not have to go through anything.
I think that's how, like you can be charitable your whole life or whatever, but then, like, when something actually inspires you, then you, like, really get involved with that charity.
Right. And it's like, you know, youth sports is something... It's a little more lighthearted. It's not like we're like saving, you know, pediatric cancer or whatever. Yeah. But I think it's also a fun thing that can like live on. But man, I almost wish. I mean, I just rolled in solo. Like I had nobody with me, and because I just didn't even imagine it being the scene it was going to be. But I feel like if we had that moment for, like, if you were behind me with the camera, it was it was wild, dude. It was great. But just like shots all around, everybody hugging me and. But it was just funny thinking, like, people were saying to me, like, do you know what Shiva is? Like, you know, you can't sit in certain spots. You have to, like, really you have to, like, follow these rules and everything.
You can't sit in certain spots?
Yeah, like if you
isn't it like, aren't the chairs really low?
Yeah, they're hard. They're hard and low. Yeah. It's like you can't be, like, comfortable.
Yeah.
So you can't. So all of a sudden, as I'm going in, people are saying that to me, like, make sure you don't, like, break their rules or whatever.
Is that why people say sit Shiva? Like,
yeah, I think so. I think you sit in like a uncomfortable spot where it's like you have to just like think about the person. It's like totally silent. At least I think that's what I understand. And I think they did all that shit at home, and then this was like the party. But when I walked in there, I was like, oh no, this is what my people do. This is a full blown Irish way. Maybe I'm now learning everybody has their own version of that. We just call it something different. But I was like, in my family, it's the same funeral home every time. It's the same cemetery every time. It's like, run it back. And the same bar next to the funeral home every single time. So I don't know if that's how they do it there, but it was like, the spread they had, it was like the best party I've ever been to. It's like, boy, I hope it doesn't take just people dying for the party to be this good. But so it was very, very fun. Like when they invited me, I don't think they expected me to go at all, and I was like, there was never even a doubt in my mind. I was like, I am seeing this one all the way through. So I think they should be here probably about now. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Whether you're trying to go to a sporting event, a concert, music, the ballet, Broadway, stand-up comedy.
Rockettes are
coming
this weekend.
Christmas Spectacular.
Blue Man Group.
Let's
see.
Stomp.
Moulin Rouge. Titanic. Nate has seen Titanic twice. He says it's fantastic.
What's Titanic?
It is some kind of play. I don't know. Nate's a big Titanic guy, and he's seen Titanic twice now.
He does love the Titanic.
We also got New York Philharmonic, college basketball star, and Blue Devils at Bulls. That would be Duke versus I don't know who.
We got NFL, we got hockey, all of it right now. And they have the new Gametime Picks feature, which is you pick your sporting event, and then they give you the best tickets available. Because there's so many tickets on the secondary market. Some are expensive, some are crappy seats. These ones, Gametime Picks, are right up your alley. All you got to do is open up the Gametime app at the top, hit GT Picks, turn it on at the top of the screen, and you'll browse all of the best local Gametime events with the best prices and the best seats available, up to the minute pricing, so you know you're getting the best on the secondary market. And, of course, everything is guaranteed authentic, so you will get in the building. So what are you waiting for? Go buy those tickets right now with Gametime Picks. And if you use code KFC, you can score those tickets easier with the Gametime Picks. So download the Gametime app and use code KFC today. What time is it? Gametime!
Who would have thought?
Literally nobody. Like, absolutely not. It was. We were just talking about like the amount of things that needed to all like align for this to kind of unfold.
Thank God for whatever girl gave you that rash.
It's not from that. Not from that.
I like the face Robin just made. Robin just made like, all right.
Are we good over there, guys? Yeah.
Sounds typical.
Yeah, I swear. It's a staph infection, I swear. All right, so we have the Kamin family here. I was just describing everything from my point of view, but I wanted to get you guys on to just kind of hear your side of things. And obviously this came from something so tragic, but I think in those moments, like, everybody kind of, you got to just do whatever can help you get through these things. And I think something like this maybe can, make it a little bit easier, or a distraction, or something, wholesome to come out of something so sad. So even in that moment when I first saw you guys, as soon as you guys walked in, I saw everybody's eyes were teary. I was like, oh boy, like this is something bad. But then like right away, your family was able to kind of joke with me and like smile a little bit. Is that something you guys always kind of been like that? Is that like, did you raise them in that way, or is that?
That's 100% my husband.
Robin, by the way. Robin, Jenna, Lily, and Michael Kamin.
That 100% comes straight from my husband.
Was it him?
Who was just the most, hilarious, self-deprecating, sarcastic, witty, brilliant person. And, he lost his parents at a younger age when he was in his teens and 20s. So as a grieving mechanism, I think, for his family, it kind of came together, as this is how they deal with serious topics sometimes, is to make more of a joke of it. And I think we're all just trying our best, as hard as we're grieving, to carry on his legacy.
Yeah, I know. Everybody kept saying to me, like, he would love this.
He would have loved if anything, this would be his dream come true. And if God knows that he's watching down on us, like, this is his favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
I know.
Besides
So
his family.
He grew up 53 years old, Boston Jew. So followed Portnoy forever.
I know, it's so funny.
He was-
When I started, it was like I was the Irish guy in New York, and he was the Boston guy, Jewish guy. It was Alicia
Yeah,
B.
exactly. So he grew up, or not grew up, but he would read the paper sometimes. He would always, first thing in the morning, he would check his work. He worked in, was a cotton trader. And he would go check Barstool and the New York Post, and that was his daily routine every single day.
Crazy.
So he was constantly on that.
And I mean, that's so. If he's reading the paper, that's
20
years ago at this point. Yeah. Because sometimes people will be like, oh, like we've reached a point where people will be like, oh, I'm a fan of Barstool. And it's like they just know like the Instagram account.
Yeah.
When the stories the family was telling me, it was like they were talking about Jerry Thornton. They were talking about like deep cuts. Where I was like, oh wow, these really were. And he really was like a real Barstool fan.
There was at least once a week that in the family group text we were all sent a Barstool article.
It would always be like an article of someone doing something dumb. You'd be like, look how funny this is. This better fucking not be you.
He's very chronically offline. He didn't believe in any social media. He hated Instagram, hated Facebook. He didn't even have a LinkedIn. So the only way he got his information was from Barstool.
For better or worse, I don't know.
For better or for worse. But he was like so fascinated by all these. You always make jokes like the TikTok trends are ahead of the Instagram Reels. Like he was like way after that. Like he just discovered like Haktua Girl. He was really fascinated by her.
Oh, he had one last viral story.
But yeah, so his information came from Barstool. For better or for worse.
That is crazy. I was just saying, I have never experienced anything in my career on the level of like the reception and love that I got from your family. Even like at our shows where like people are paying to come see us and excited to see us, where the reaction I got from your guys was like I didn't know what to expect. I don't know. If you guys had any expectations or if you thought I was going to come or not.
I felt
but
so bad when you walked into the Shiva for the first time. You walk in, and then it's some random guy's funeral that you haven't even met, some whatever, and you walk in the door not knowing what to expect, and then there's just a million cameras pointing at you. Like
it was crazy. I've never felt more,
It was like a celebrity guest picker on College Game Day walking into a Shiva. I was like, we have Scotty Scheffler come to Texas. It was like, here's KFC here. Shiva.
Not all Shivas are like that, I will say.
Okay, that's what I didn't know.
Like a morning. I mean, we were obviously morning, but like the fact that we were. Second you walked in, we're like, let's take shots.
Yeah,
like
that
is our family.
That's what my people do. That's how we do things. So I was just saying, as I was driving in, it didn't even dawn on me until I was driving in that I was like, I should have maybe had a little bit of a game plan of like what to do, what to say, how to find you guys, all that, and I'm not sure, was it an uncle or just a family friend who brought me in? We happened to be in the band at the same time.
I think it was a family friend.
And he was just like, do you mind if I walk in with you? And I was like, yes, because I need somebody to.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw what was going on, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. Like people were like, there's certain rules. You don't want to say this. You don't want to do that. And I was like, I don't think it's that. But like, what if it is? And it was definitely not.
Yeah. So if you arrived 10 minutes earlier, you would have been seeing that we had that 5-minute clip of the podcast on the Jumbotron.
Thank God
the
I didn't
Shiva.
come to that. That would have been crazy.
And we, our family, and the majority of my dad's close friends, we think it's the funniest thing in the entire world that we were mentioned and that this whole thing just happened. And so we played the video, and we're dying laughing. Excuse my vocab there. But we're dying laughing. And you could also see, like, we have the fucked up, dark sense of humor that most people get a little uncomfortable by. So, like, we're all watching the video hysterically laughing, and there's a few, like, stragglers in the room that just came to pay respects that were like, are we supposed to laugh? Is this funny?
Like, we made the joke where it's like he said he was a diehard Barstool fan, and they said that in the podcast, and people were like, "Oh, it was easy to die hard for him." And you see the room, like everyone's like, "Whoa, what?" And then we're just cracking up in the back, like, "Yeah, it was pretty easy."
It is weird when you have like that is how you handle things, and then you have to be next to people who don't handle it. I'm very much the same way as you guys, and then I feel like I'm on the other the shoes on the other foot now, where I'm like, we're going?
I know. Somebody had said they were like, we just played the podcast clip, and he went, some people did not like that. And
my grandma sitting there in the back. I was like, oh, okay.
I know. And well, the thing is, the only way I would have ever gone to the emergency room is having a weird, embarrassing situation like that. Everything else, I would have just been like, if I hurt my elbow or my knee or whatever, I'd be like, I'm not going to the emergency room. I'm just going to like wait it out. But I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so like this ridiculous, somewhat gross and embarrassing, absurd thing is like the only reason why I went. And Jackie was just saying, like, God couldn't have hit you with any other sort of like affliction. It had to be that. But that's in a, it's obviously a very dramatic way to describe it. But I think that's the only way I would have ever, ended up crossing paths with you guys. And now I know there's the foundation, and even just knowing that in some way, Barstool, I hope, even if it's just a smidge, is helping it a little easy, make it be a little easier. It's a cool thing that, like, there's one in a bazillion shot, and if it made it even a little bit easier for you guys, then, we're happy that happened.
Yeah, no, this whole thing has just been absolutely absurd. Obviously, since he passed, it's kind of just a week of craziness that's happened, and I think this kind of is the highlight, the good thing, the most amazing thing that can come by this. He, like I said, he would send us stuff and be like, you should never be you. Like, I hope you never go on Barstool. Like, okay, who's going to tell me to not go on Barstool now? Like, I'm going to do this.
No, we'll make sure. I will never put you guys on Barstool. I'll carry that torch for him.
Easy to say a week after.
As they're on the show.
So we were joking also. What you didn't know, obviously, we were just some random people coming in. We're also the biggest Boston sports fans. And I was like, I almost kind of was on Barstool. I'm the same age as Patrick McGillicuddy.
Oh,
so I'm February 1st, 2002. The Patriots won the Super Bowl February 3rd, 2002. So you were saying that stuff, and I was like, oh, KFC doesn't know, but he fucking hates me. I'm his worst.
No, but I'll say this. The only thing that made it, like, I think I said this to you, I'm so happy he wasn't a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Because if I had to roll in during the World Series and hear all this Yankee stuff, I was going to be like,
Oh my,
but knowing that, like, Red Sox family made it great.
The goddamn Jets videos, me and him would sit there and play it and just hysterically laugh. Like, look at this moron. This is awesome.
Yeah. They said he hated the Jets. I was like, why? What's even to hate? Just laugh at it. You don't have to hate us.
We're obviously very, very, very big Patriots fans, but we're also, I think, maybe even bigger Jets haters. Like, that's how we were raised.
Well,
and
I get that as Mets and Yankees.
My boyfriend is a Jets fan, and he's like, I just don't get it. Like, for the last 20 years, we've sucked. Like, why are we consuming your mind? And we were like, it's pure entertainment for us to watch the Jets.
The same reason Will Ferrell entertains my mind. It's funny.
So when it becomes easy for us, it's more fun to also hate too. You gotta have something else.
So we were watching the game he passed on Friday, and the Jets-Pats game was on Sunday, and it was just like, I'm not a super spiritual person, but for the Jets to lose in such terrible fashion to the Patriots,
we knew
like,
it was
my
him.
dad was orchestrating something up there.
One of your relatives or friends said to me, like, if you didn't put $100,000 on the money line Patriots, like, you are an idiot. And I was looking back, like, of course that was going to be part of the story as well.
He stopped at the Titans, but we got the Jets at least.
He stopped at the Titans. All right, I got other stuff to do now.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him in Boston, actually, through mutual friends. And right when I had met him, he just moved to New York to start trading. And I was still in Boston as a teacher. So we commuted long distance for over a year. And then, obviously, when things got serious, I moved to New York to be with him. And that's where we started our life. We got married in Boston.
How old were you when you met?
I was 25.
Okay.
Are you from Randolph as well?
I am not. I grew up in Wellesley,
Oh, okay.
So
very nice.
And some people make fun of us for how we had different upbringings, but it always seemed to work. And
why was one like a fancier town than the other?
Randolph's where Gaz is from. Wellesley's nice.
Got it. Say no more. Understand. Those are kind of the best ones, though. I feel like, right? If those can work, they are like. I feel like some of the strongest and best relationships. And,
I mean, we just had the best time, married for 27 years, together for 30, the best years of my life. And he made a career out of something that he never thought he would do as well as he did. And
I was going to say, it seems like he killed it. Like, he was very successful.
And all self-made.
Yeah. And,
gave me 3 beautiful kids that we're going to keep raising in his tradition and spirit. So
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a good
I've seen a lot of like the Instagram pictures and videos of him, like big mug of beer in his hand.
He was the life of the party.
Yeah.
But he sat me down. He taught me what to spread in the money line when I was 5. He was like, "You're gonna have to do this."
Well, that's. I mean, he was a trader, right? So it's like that's just like legalized form of gambling,
exactly.
That's how you have to do the Yankees.
Yeah. So it was literally that. So I was 5 or 7 years old, whatever it was, when the Celtics were playing the Lakers in the NBA Finals. And I was like, all right, Dad, it's time for me to make my first bet. So he sits me down. He walks me through everything. It was amazing. Then he connects me with one of his buddy's kids, and we make the bet. Celtics beat the Lakers, whatever it was. The Celtics lose. So the bet was the loser had to wear, or I lost, so I had to wear a pink Yankees jersey to school that day. So 7-year-old me.
That's tough.
We show up to our friend's house. They give me the pink Yankees jersey. And I lose it. Like the worst thing in my mind, hysterically crying, throwing a huge temper tantrum, a fit. Other neighbors come out of their house. They're like, is everything okay? Like, I think there's child abuse going on.
Yeah.
So the other dad...
Technically there is.
The other dad felt awful. He looks at my dad. He's like, listen, I feel so bad. Maybe the kids were too young. Like, we shouldn't have done this. Like, he doesn't have to wear it. He's fine. He looks at me and goes... He's wearing that fucking jersey.
Gotta pay your bets.
He ships me off on the bus with me hysterically crying and everyone making fun of me for the worst day of my life. It was like, what's going on?
Listen, you're probably the man you are today because of that. You learned you gotta pay your bets. You gotta,
I even about thick skin.
I had to have thick skin.
But so another that he was self-made, and one of his goals obviously was to see a Patriots Super Bowl, and then also to bring his whole family to the Patriots Super Bowl. So we went to the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl in Houston, Super Bowl 51.
Wow.
And Jenna,
so obviously, I mean, it's 28-3. I have this memory like engraved, and I'm in 7th grade. To be honest, I knew nothing about football, but I just knew that I had to be a diehard Patriots fan.
That's the rule.
So we're like losing, whatever, and I'm like, Dad, can I ask you a question? What's the difference between a kick for 1 point and a kick for 3 points? And he looks at me and he's like, I'm going to kick you out of this. Like, I've never seen him so angry, but he wanted...
A fair question.
Yes.
He was just so excited to be able to, like, I've done it, like, I can do it, I can bring my whole family.
I mean, bringing your whole family to the Super Bowl
he was
is
like, that was his moment, like...
Yeah.
That is an achievement.
He wasn't a material guy, he didn't like to spend much money, but it was kind of like, sports and football is so much to me. If I can have this moment and share with my family, this is amazing. And then Jenna made that comment, and he was like, that was the dumbest fucking decision.
He wanted to slap me right there.
that Super Bowl, we have Hank to thank for that win.
Yeah,
that was
one of our producers. Where did you watch it, from the bathroom? Or
Hank, no, that one was from the concourse. Hank, I don't know if you guys know, he's a producer on Part of My Take, or he's kind of a host on Part of My Take now. But he would always... It started with the Seahawks Super Bowl, for the first time he did it, where that one he watched from the bathroom. And then we were at that game, at the Pats-Falcons one, and he would go for the fourth quarter. If they were losing, he would leave for the fourth quarter. And he looked at me like with almost like the most passion I've ever seen from Hank. He's like, I can't be here anymore. I got to go. And he left, and he just stood on the concourse at Houston. It was an RNC, whatever it's called.
NRG.
NRG. I knew it was letters. And and he left, and he came running back up after the game, and like I saw him, and it's the happiest I've ever seen him. And he's like, "I did it! I did it!" Like, I don't know how much it was you, but
I love the video of the Rams one of Portnoy getting dragged out with his limp legs, and he's like, "You can't take me out of here without me trying."
That is the Rams one. I was at that Super Bowl with my dad, and there is a difference in going to a game like that. Like you've been to big games and all that stuff. But like going to that game as a family or with your father is different. Like I've been to hundreds, thousands probably games with my dad. But when you're at the Super Bowl, you're like, wow, we are
Well, there's
here.
so much to it. It's like, it's obviously the Super Bowl, and there's a certain amount of, like, you know, there are families that their team never even gets to go to the Super Bowl, and then being able, you're successful enough that you can bring your whole family. It's kind of like, you know, not to be dramatic as it is just being like sports fandom, but it's like the culmination of him. It's like, I was a sports fan. I worked hard. I did well enough that I can bring, you know, 5-6 people, whatever it was, to the Super Bowl is, you know, I'm sure that for him was, you know, the pinnacle. So, well, I hope that, you know, we kind of stick together for forever now. You know, that the foundation is
once that
gonna be
staph infection clears up.
Yeah. Keep your distance.
Yeah, one because you said you hugged my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, you're not coming now. Like, you're not going anywhere near her.
That was so funny too. Just the amount of people who were like grateful, but then being like, "How you doing? What's going on there?"
Kevin walking in like a cowboy who just crossed the prairie.
No, but I also think what you said, the nature of your being in the hospital is what makes the story even greater. Like, when I sent you that DM, like, thank you for like the hug, thank you for whatever. Hope your dick and balls are feeling better, by the way. But like,
that's when I knew. I was like, all right, we're gonna get along.
Yeah, but oh my god, my dad is hysterically laughing right now, and we know that for sure. And just being here and talking about him, and you know, this legacy will live on through the foundation, through this podcast, through us. And yeah, he loved sports, he loved coaching, he loved being a father, he loved being a husband. Like, everyone probably says this about their dad, but there was no one like my dad. Like, truly, truly, truly. And I would trade this amazing experience just for one more hug from him more than anything. But he's laughing and he's proud and he loves you too. And
yes, he really does.
He's sitting here with us somewhere right now.
Not enough.
You should definitely trade this, by the way.
Yeah, definitely trade
for
this.
sure. Trade this.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know. I'm happy. In the moment, I was like, you were just so funny about it.
I was delusional.
I know.
I was delusional.
I think your boyfriend said something like, what the fuck was that? But I was so taken aback, and I didn't know what to do, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go hug her because I don't know what else.
And I was like, he's the nicest person ever. He's so nice. Like, it was so nice, and I was just like, I mean, it was half an hour ago that I found out that my dad was dead, and then I was in the hospital, and you were there. I was like, what the fucking fuck? Like, how is he here right now? And my dad just died, and what's going on? And it was just hilarious. You were so nice to come to the Shiva, to have us on the podcast.
We really didn't think you were showing up. That was
it was a stretch.
We're sitting there. We're like,
I was like, I'll just DM him the info.
Yeah, we just played the.
I'm happy you did because I was never gonna like ask to or whatever. But once the invitation was extended,
we like they play the clip. Everyone's sitting there, and it's like, oh, Jenna said he like invited him. Like, nothing happens. And then we're all sitting on our phone. It's like, you've been tagged in a post by KFC Barstool. And we're like, what the hell? And then we just open it up. And it's like, I'm on my way to Shiva. I've never done this before.
I debated that too because I was like, if I'm going to do it, I want to surprise them. But then I was also like, I don't know, that's not a time you really want to be surprised or like you should know. Yeah. So I gave a little bit of heads up, being like,
so when I saw your first reel that you posted, we had two Shivas. We had one at our house and then the one you came to. So the one at our house was on Tuesday after the funeral, and it was a very overwhelming day. So I was sitting in my bathroom, I think with one or two other friends, and all of a sudden I locked my door, and there's knocking on my door. They're banging. They go, it's an emergency. I go, what? Did my dad die? Like, he's already dead. Like, I mean, what? And they're like, KFC just posted a reel about you, and I was like, oh my god, I'm famous. I made it. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. So. But it was just unreal. And then after the funeral in Shiva on Tuesday, we went to my dad's favorite dive bar in Port Chester, Sam's, and he would have loved that. We were with his college friends, we're exchanging stories, we're drinking beers, and that's how we spent my dad's funeral, was at a bar, and that's how we do it, and that's how
we wanted it,
yes.
Right? I mean, that's
always finish your beer, never, ever, ever leave a drink unfinished. He would,
the amount of times I've seen him eat someone else's plate of chicken wings because he didn't
leave it.
No waste.
Like, there was a little bit of meat on the bone, and he would take someone else's wings and shove them in his mouth. Disgusting. I don't know if that was him being cheap or just like disgusting. It was a mix of both.
He would make sure to take all of our food, and he would lick our own chicken wings.
Crazy. He'd do the chicken wing. He'd bite the bone.
It's one thing to like finish the burger, the bone, and then
no. And then when you go to a steakhouse and you get like the T-bone, he's the one
we
that's
have a
like
million pictures of him like
on the steak.
Peter Luger is at the nicest steakhouse you could be. He's like
on the
That's great though. So. Well, again, I'm happy. I know sometimes in my experience, I've never had anything quite as traumatic as this, but anytime I've lost somebody, like you said, in the beginning, there's so much hoopla and so much going on that it's still there in a way, and they're still a part of it. And I know after that dies down is sometimes when it can be the hardest. So if there's anything we can do to make give you a laugh or help with the foundation or the podcast, whatever it may be, I feel like KFC Radio gang is kind of here for you in any possible way going forward. So
speak about the foundation, or do you
no? So yeah, I only heard that you were going to do one for youth sports, but if you want to give more details about that, we can.
He was like all three of our coaches for every youth soccer.
Everything but soccer.
Everything but soccer, basketball. I mean, so nothing meant more to him.
Wait, who's the best athlete?
Quick hand.
No, it's so me.
I played the most sports.
You're out. You're out. It's between the two of us.
I got cut like from every sport young, so I got to go play golf, which was great because now I'm the best golfer in all my friends.
In the long run,
they're all jealous. I'm a 9 handicap now.
Yeah, good for you. You could play basketball in 7th grade. I'm going to play this for the next 50 years.
Exactly. Like now I'm taking all my friends' money.
Girls varsity basketball captain. I mean,
I was tennis.
Of a school of 120 people in a class. There were 2 senior girls on the basketball team, and they made them both captain by default. But so what I actually said in my eulogy is, so Rybrook, where we're from, is a very small town. It's not a super athletic town either. If you're good at sports, like you go off to like a private school, like you don't stay in Blindbrook.
Right.
So he would come to my room after games, and he drilled me about everything. He's like, your pivot foot wasn't strong enough down. Like your follow through was. I would make the basket, but my follow through wasn't good enough. So every night he would drill me on what I needed to work on for next game. And whenever I sucked, he always told me I sucked. But then when I was good, he would say, "You're good, but you're just Rybrook good. You're not actually good. You're just like small town good. You're not actually good."
Gotta keep you in check.
Yeah, it's always
keep you hungry, keep you wanting more.
But so speaking of the foundation, we are raising money for the Steve Kamin Foundation, and we have a GoFundMe set up, which we can give the information for, and we will be donating 100% of the proceeds to disadvantaged youth sports to get them all to play. And my dad would have loved that. There was nothing he loved more than coaching. Yeah. He loved coaching his kids, but he also loved coaching other kids too. When I left the football team, he stayed on as the board of the small town football whatever you call it. But he was amazing. All he wanted to do was coach, be involved, and just helping people out. So I think that we were debating, do we do heart disease, do we do whatever. It was like he didn't have a heart disease, he just kind of had a heart attack out of nowhere. So we decided this is the way to go, and this is what he would have liked.
That's awesome. And I think that resonates with a lot of the Barstool audience as well. So hopefully that can be another thing where we work on together. But I just wanted to give you some love because, I mean, these are great kids.
They are my rock, and they're my world, and they're going to keep me going as always. And just as much as we can joke, and Steve was one hell of a guy. He truly was the best person out there, and a testament to the people that showed up and his friends and his family. He was the most loved human being. I literally cannot think of one enemy he had.
Right. Well, ever. But these guys are so impressive, and they were very funny, but also very strong. So
great things.
I think that's the best, testament to a couple and a mom and dad is how great their kids are. And so if that's any indication, he was amazing. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
If you're ever worried about the safety of your home and your family and your belongings, there's no better time to act than right now. I got the whole renovation going on. I just got all of our new plumbing and all of the guts and the bones of the house is all set. And the next thing I'm going to do is insert the whole security system with the cameras and the sensors and everything through SimpliSafe, because they don't just have cameras. They don't just have an alarm that goes off once someone's breaking into your house. It's pretty much too late when that happens. What SimpliSafe has is a new way to protect your home from intruders before they even break in. We're talking about Active Guard outdoor protection that changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. We're doing Tom Cruise, man. We're doing Minority Report. We're doing pre-crime. If someone's lurking around, you're acting suspicious, they're on your property, these agents can see them in real time through your cameras, talk to them directly. They can set off spotlights. They can even call the police right away and be like, yo, there's some dude outside the property. Get him out of there before they've had a chance to break in. So go to SimpliSafe.com/KFC Radio and get 60% off any new system when you select a professional monitoring program. It's the Black Friday sale. It's already started at SimpliSafe.com, simply with an I, SIMPLI, safe.com/KFC Radio, and get 60% off that monitoring plan. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
I saw this over the weekend. I thought it was like the craziest video I ever seen. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but I wanted to discuss it. I didn't want to take to Twitter with it because I don't know. You go full screen quick.
Okay.
I'm closing my eyes.
No, you can open them. It's fine. This is Tom Brady's first time playing hockey.
First time skating or playing hockey?
First time skating, I guess.
First time skating, it says.
Max. He's coming for you, Max.
That's a black man.
I was going to say he looked black.
He's a black man.
I was like, that's not Tom Brady. That's a black dude.
It looks like he's gone full Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, what is going on there?
That's why I thought maybe Jackie would have some insight as to like.
I mean, pause right there. That's a black man. That is a black man. I didn't know what we were looking for, and the whole time I was going, "That's a black dude."
Yeah.
I was like, is Tom Brady the guy coming in from the front? So I was like, that's a black dude.
Tom Brady's just a black guy.
What is that? He's like gray.
It's like a dark brown.
It's got to be like the light reflecting off the ice and all that stuff. But it was making me think of Chad Ochocinco once had a tweet that he deleted where it's like it's him and Tom Brady dapping each other up, and Ochocinco's comment was two black guys, you know, like if you know you know kind of deal. And I was like, I always thought it was about his penis, but it turns out Tom Brady's just a black man.
I mean, that if you were to just screenshot that and put it out, especially given certain stereotypes, you could be like, look at this black guy learning to skate for the first time, and it's Tom Brady.
He's like, it's got to be
look
like
at that. That's a black guy. That's a fucking black guy. It's a fucking black man. Look at that. He's even looking like from the side. It's whatever. He's looking right at us with Tom Brady's face, but he's black.
He's so black, dude. It's crazy.
And but you're right. It really does look like Robert Downey's blackface.
Yeah.
Where you can Robert Downey, you can tell it's a little bit makeup. You know what I mean? So it looks like Tom Brady just decided to be like, I'm going to put on blackface and go play hockey.
He was on Fox News. Yes, not Fox News. Fox Sports on the broadcast yesterday, and
looking white as shit.
I didn't watch the game.
No, I saw him. I didn't think anything of it.
So it's got to be a light situation?
Well, yeah. But I don't think Tom Brady actually turned into a black man.
Yeah.
Definitely thinking it's some sort of light.
There's no hints of orange.
No, it's not like a spray. Like when you get a spray tan at first and it's got to settle.
Yeah.
But
actually, he could have not washed it off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What it looks like.
His Instagram story the other day was so funny.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say, what do you think of that?
What was that?
What did he post?
Oh, with Giselle. Oh, not with Giselle.
He posted what? He posted landslide.
Yeah.
And what was the comment? What was the phrase?
It was
the
child in me. It was a quote from the lyrics. Oh, here it is. Can the child within my heart rise above?
That's fucking weird.
And it's weird that he used the chicks version of landslide.
Now, to be clear about one thing,
that is funny too. Yeah.
I asked this at the live show and I forget the answer I got. That happened to be the correctly timed screenshot, right? Like those were just showing the lyrics of the song. No,
that's a
permanent.
That's
caption.
That's the permanent caption.
Yeah.
All right. Oh.
So, but I think that
not great.
Is there a chance that he just it was just bad timing? Like he just wanted to post the story.
That's what I said. Where I was like, Tom Brady's just too busy living his own life. He He's just like, yo, I love the Dixie Chicks, and
I would actually think that, except I feel like we know well enough that like about his operation that it's like pretty well run and pretty like I feel like somebody would have been like, don't do that.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Somebody had eyes on that.
Bonner, what are you doing? Get our boy checked.
Yeah, basically. I wonder if Bonner was like, hey, dude, maybe not. And Tom was like, no. Like, it goes up. Like, I mean it. I really mean it. Yeah, Giselle just fucking, like, let's go. New kid, new boyfriend, new life.
I had two other things real quick. One, I didn't watch the game yesterday because I was at the marathon. My sister ran it. The marathon is so clearly just like, it's that's my first time really like it registering. It's so clearly like a test of will, because like 20% of the marathon's obese.
Yeah, you can do it. You just have to
a significant amount of people running are like not even just big. Like, oh, that's a fat person.
But I don't know. I feel like I could not do it. I feel like I would die before I did it.
I think
like when I run like a mile, my chest is like.
Well, also everyone gains weight when they train for a marathon because like your body's not.
Well, we're talking like I know what you're talking about. We're talking like fatzos.
Oh yeah, no, like fat people.
Really?
Like 20% is a high number. I'm exaggerating for that, but like a lot of people, you're like, Jesus Christ, I didn't even know you could like walk across the street.
No, I definitely think it's much more about like endurance and like mental.
Yeah, it's just don't stop.
Pushing
just
your
go
body.
and I'm not saying it's easy. It's just it's difficult in a completely different sense than
probably
I thought
almost
it was.
harder in a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you can also be in great shape and not be able to do it because you don't have the
will
capacity. Yeah, the will. Because who fucking has the will? It's not like if there's a fucking avalanche behind me, maybe I'll keep running. But otherwise, I do not have the will to run 26.2 miles for just no reason.
Said this, but one of my friend's boyfriends like took a class in college that was like marathon. Like the class was marathon.
Shout out state schools.
Yeah, but like so it's like
gym.
Every class was like you run like 1 mile, and then you run 2 miles, and then you run 3 miles, and eventually like they just. What?
Paying for
yeah,
that?
exactly.
Like,
but eventually, like
$5,000.
they're not like the teacher's not running with you, so they just trust that you're actually like running like all these miles. But a lot of the kids would like run like 3 miles and then like go home and just sleep the rest, or like run like whatever. And so he didn't like train at all. Like, he would literally just like go run off campus and then like chill in his whatever, go back to sleep. And so then when the final is like you have to run a marathon, and he was just like, I have to be able to run this marathon. I haven't been training at all, but like I don't have a choice or else I'm going to fail the class. Like if you don't run the marathon. And then he just did it.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you just have
if you're
like, my buddy ran the marathon like when we were probably like in our early 20s, and he was his we love to say it was like my training was I stopped smoking for the week before.
Yeah.
That was it.
Just did it.
And then the last thing, speaking of black men and Tom Brady, R.I.P. Quincy Jones. This is like my favorite quote of all time, or is an interview he's doing with Vulture, and I don't know how they got to this, but they started talking about Marlon Brando, and Quincy Jones goes, Marlon Brando used to go cha-cha dancing with us. He could dance his ass off. He was the most charming motherfucker you ever met. He'd fuck anything. He'd fuck a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. And the interviewer goes, he slept with them? How do you know that? He goes, come on, man. He didn't give a fuck. You like Brazilian music? That's
all over the fucking map.
Dude, you drop some gossip like Marlon Brando used to fuck Richard Pryor and go, anyway, you like Brazilian music?
That's crazy. That's like some Charlie Murphy, Rick James shit, just all over the place.
Speaking of that, can you pull up one quick story? The Michael, actually, it's about Quincy Jones' daughters. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
It was Michael Jackson Tupac fight.
What?
This fight? You want to talk about like some Charlie Murphy stuff? This no, that one right there.
You know, Mike and Quincy was tight, so that means Michael Jackson grew up. I mean, watch Quincy Jones' daughters grow up. Fast forward years later, Tupac is dating one of the daughters. I think it was Khadijah. They came out of Tupac comes out the party, disrespected Khadijah, like, shut up, come on, shut the fuck up and get in the car. Mike stepped to him, yo, you can't talk to her like that. He was like, Mike, mind your fucking business. Mike was like, no, that's like my niece. You ain't gonna just talk to her like that. Michael Jackson and fucking Tupac start rumbling. Michael Jackson beat his ass.
No way. Tough look for Pac.
Michael Jackson beat his ass.
I mean, that's the same thing as the Prince story. Is like playing basketball.
I saw someone say about that. I saw it through Twitter, and someone had like just quote tweeted it and was like, You guys don't think a guy who grew up in Gary, Indiana, with an abusive father and 5 brothers could fight?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
That guy was fighting for his life. Yeah. Wow,
it is not talked nearly enough about the fact that like Michael Jackson's white. He turned.
I knew you were going that. Like, it is insane that the biggest entertainer of all time. Well, I mean, I guess it's just as crazy as the greatest quarterback of all time turning black.
Yeah.
Just it can happen. But yeah,
and also like he like slept with children. Like he like
it's crazy.
There's nobody who's gotten more passes than Michael Jackson.
And it's true. Everyone just goes like it's the Chappelle skit, like Thriller, man. He made Thriller.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? Like, he was the greatest. But yeah, it like I wonder what would happen now. It would be like, I guess Taylor's a female, so it's hard. There's not a male. I mean, I
feel like Shawn Mendez coming out straight.
I guess it would be like somewhat similar if there was like if Drake was like literally like had kids in his bed. You know, there's like rumors and shit, but if it was like he invites them over and they like hang out at his house and they sleep together. Everyone was like, "Ah, that's a little weird." Anyway,
did you see Drake this week with DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah,
He's like, I defend Drake through a lot.
I can't.
This is where I draw the line.
I actually don't mind him being like the quote of Drake being like, if they put up a banner for DeMar DeRozan, I'm going to pull it down myself.
That was cool.
That I'm fine with. That was like on a radio, whatever that was, a call in, a sideline report, whatever that was. But the like mean mugging on courtside, like staring at him and shit, it's like, bro, we're never like a tough guy. That's actually what I usually liked about Drake, is that he didn't really pretend to be like he dresses and acts like hip hop, but he's not like rapping about selling drugs and shit. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't that. But this is like, it's like, dude, DeMar DeRozan will beat you the fuck up. Drake.
He called him a pussy like so quietly under his breath.
Did he? I didn't hear that. What did he say?
So it's just like the mouthing of it.
When he's on the court.
But he like, you can clearly say he's like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. He's just,
this is all stems from DeMar DeRozan being in the Kendrick Lamar music video.
Right. I mean, I do feel like Drake's probably like LeBron, DeMar DeRozan, all these guys who like were tight with him and then they're just rocking out to not like us. Like, that does suck. And part of me, if that was me, I'd be like, yo, fuck you guys. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, this guy's calling me a pedophile. It's not just like, oh, hey, it's like good for the culture. Like, this went way past the line. But I don't know. Then to hang on the way he's doing it with DeMar DeRozan is just kind of corny. Needs to stop. He needs to just like go away for a little bit. You know what's really interesting though? Remember we were talking about that 100 gigs where I was saying, I thought that was like a shot at the digital platforms being like, I don't need you.
Yeah.
When it's actually much more like the new way that record labels are paying you is through Meta and like based on your online impressions. So when he put that out there and like he's like, look how much internet activity I can generate, because that's the new way you get paid. Not through streams, not through record sales. It's all about like they're now putting that into your contract. Like, yeah, it's good to go viral on TikTok. And it's like, no, like if your sound gets used on TikTok XYZ million times, you get more money. So he's like, it's probably more profitable at this point to show your online footprint rather than get like Spotify streams.
Yeah.
So always ahead of the curve. He might be corny, might have took a fat L, but he's very good at making money. All right, let's get to some voicemails brought to you by Green Lumber. Green Lumber has been a sponsor of ours for a little while. We're talking about men's health. We're talking about supplements to help you be your healthiest. But what we also learned is we're talking about getting your dick hard.
Yeah, Pavs is taking it. Pavs is our guinea pig.
Yep. Pavs took what he thought was just like a men's vitamin and supplement, and it turned out to be a dick pill.
That was the Green Lumber.
and it works really well.
Now knowing that like lumber, like green lumber makes me like, yeah, you're throwing lumber. Yeah, we can confirm that even if you are just sitting at your desk editing a podcast, you will be hard all goddamn day long. Because what they have the right here is called the Daily Offense, which is like This is supplements where you can get your vitamins and your vitamin B, vitamin A, C, D, all that good stuff. Daily Offense, 60 capsules. But what they put here in the more discreet packaging is the natural fuel for men. This, my friends, this will get the blood flowing to a specific spot on your body so that if you are trying to get it in for the weekend or you need to perform well in the bedroom, they got you covered, again, with the discreet packaging and the name. It doesn't feel like as if you feel like there's any stigma or any embarrassment, you don't have to worry about that because Green Lumber has you covered. They got that nitric oxide boost that keeps the blood pumping and your energy up. No crashes all day long. Taking vitamins never felt so good. They've even got you covered on prostate support and gut health too. The full package to make sure your system is firing like a well-oiled machine. Two-day discreet shipping, and you'll be back in the game by Friday night, ready to go. So, Green Lumber will never let you down. Keep it up. Get it? Buy now at greenlumber.com/barstool and receive free 2-day shipping on your first order. You're going to need it.
There is simply not even close to enough emphasis put on how dialed in you have to be to your mileage before your next oil change. People never talk about oil changes. I just like looked up and I was like, holy shit, I haven't gotten an oil change in months and months and months. I'm so far over what this little number on the top of my fucking windshield is telling me. It's crazy. And this car is old. I cannot afford lapses like this. The media has to do a better job. This is just not my fault. How often do you guys get your oil changed? I feel like I've never heard anybody say I got my oil changed today. And yet per these numbers, you're supposed to do it like every 2 months.
I know. That is crazy.
I don't...
The whole system is fucked because...
Is everybody really doing this except me?
It's not talked about enough, but it's also when they do talk about it, they treat it like you're filling up your gas tank. You don't need to do it as frequent as they say.
I would say...
I think is a racket.
I don't have any clear memory of getting... I've never been a big driver, but I don't have a clear memory of being I gotta get my oil.
If you're like, I'm running out of gas, you're like, I have to go to the gas station.
Yeah.
The car will not work. When you reach a point like that with the oil, it's like your car will break. I drove mine into the ground because the symbol never came on. You think to yourself I need gas. Usually, the symbol will go on. You need gas, but you can't just drive forever. Whereas I was prepared to drive that car forever until a light went on.
My college roommate drove one of the guys who needed pussy. Drove I don't know, we'll call it late 90s, early 2000s Jeep Cherokee. Said he never got the oil change once. This was 2000. So it was probably in early 90s. This was in 2007.
Older cars, they did make it whereas you're good. But
he would be like, you don't have, it's all a scam. You don't have to do that. I'd be like, I think you're wrong, but the car is running, so I don't really know.
I actually do think they probably made, I bet you can make a car that can run for a longer time, and it's hey, if you make it shorter, the Valvolines and the Jiffy Lubes of the world, it's all a fucking, one industry together. Because I do think older cars have, now it's, like he said, it's supposed to be every couple months, and I do not think that is really the case.
Yeah.
But it's funny, my shit just went back on, it said oil change, you need to change your oil soon. And that went for about a week, and now it's changed to oil change required. And I am a guy who drove a car into the fucking ground by not doing it, and I still am I'll get to it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and I'm supposed to do it today. I'm probably not going to have enough time now today. I got to go to practice, and my car is going to break at some point. But it is the little sticker. I think I'm 5,000 miles over.
Yeah, I do think it's
sticker.
Talked about a good amount.
You think so? You think there's enough big oil talk? Get your oil changed.
Kinda.
Before I had problems with it, I never ever
I
thought about it. Did
smoking because
mine was
had issues.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had no oil in it for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles.
Really?
The guy.
I mean, ultimately too, it's also it's kind of just like eating fruits and vegetables. You're supposed to do it, and it's definitively good for you.
Yes,
but you'll survive.
Right, the car will run, and I mean until you run it into the ground. But it's yes, for your vehicle to have the most efficient mileage and run the smoothest, you probably should do it every fucking month.
Right.
But let's be realistic.
You should eat an apple a day and keep the doctor away.
Yeah, we don't do that.
If you don't, you'll probably be all right.
Right,
but you won't be great.
Right. But But yeah, it is funny that where it's like, you run out of gas, like your car is fucking cooked. You run out of oil, your oil's fucked up. It'll be all right. Why is that the fucking case? All right, last one.
What's up, guys? So I have a question that was brought on by Jackie mentioning that she might have jury duty in the next, couple weeks. So jury duty, obviously, most people think of as, a huge inconvenience. But my jury duty experience was actually fucking awesome. So it was in 2010. I had just graduated college, like literally 2 weeks before the case. And it was a murder trial for a drug dealer from 1992 cold case. It was 5 days that I got paid for. I didn't have a job yet because, like I said, I just graduated college. So I got like $150 a day. The case was super interesting. Turned out that we ended up letting the guy off. It was a guy and a girl. The girl was later convicted, and the guy was already doing 25 to life for a different murder. So we might have fucked that one up. But anyway, also that week, I was the first time I watched Breaking Bad start to finish. So overall, maybe the best week of my life, give or take. So my question is there any experiences you guys have had where everybody else kind of views it as negative, but you thought it was awesome? That's all. Thanks. Viva.
Yeah, I mean, listen, true crime is taken over in such a way that I'm sure there are people who relish jury duty for opportunities like that. It's got to be funny when if you as a jury let people off and then like down the road you find out you're wrong, you're kind of like, jeez, guys, we fucked that one. Yeah. Let's not talk about that one again. As far as something that everybody hates that I liked and enjoyed,
most things.
Yeah, I was thinking about when people are like, oh, it's getting so dark early, and I don't like the winter, and it's cold. It's like, that's my time to shine. Yeah. Stay inside. I can watch, turn on a movie at like 4 o'clock, and it's dark, and you can enjoy it. Like that to me is, I love that. We just did the clocks, right? We just did
this weekend
daylight savings. Now
this is the two days a year I get up before like 7 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be my everyone else is outdoors. Team indoors for life is my.
I was in a car accident once. That was awesome.
When you're a kid, casts and braces and all that shit, you want those things.
We were a little older. We were probably like in our 20s, and we were going to Vermont. We were going up skiing, and we we left after work Friday, and like it was full on, dude. So I forget what mountain we were going to. I think Jay Peak, and so we're going deep up north, and we're driving on this mountain, and it's just like fucking no fence mountain, and like for like most of the drive, and then at one point we skid out and we start spinning and we bounce off. We didn't think the fence was there for some reason. At that stretch, there was like a guardrail.
You would have just gotten right off the mountain.
We bounce off that, end up in the back of the median, still spinning. And like the second the car stops, I was like, "Oh, that was fucking sick!" And my buddy was like really, like he couldn't drive the rest of the way. I had to drive the rest of the way. Like he was like really panicking, and I was like, "I don't know, dude, that was pretty fun." And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I don't know, like it was definitively fun. Like we survived it.
You almost getting murdered in the Bahamas. Right?
Yeah,
that's you love all those things.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Again,
until you die.
If it went another way, it would be not fun. Right, but it went the way we survived and had a good story.
Like
so
near death experiences are the best experiences.
Yeah.
Death experiences not so much.
Yeah, right.
Near death, awesome. Very important distinction, but razor thin line.
Even like jury duty, like I it's even embarrassing that this guy brought it up because looking back on it, like if you had a camera following me around all weekend, like I would not shut up about jury duty.
When you do go to jury duty, you should go all in on it.
Because also it's just like for some reason I was trying to reflect. I was like, honestly, like why do I keep? Because I kept being like, oh, like I have jury duty, like acting like I was like I was telling you guys, like if I'm being honest, like I'm stoked about jury duty. I don't know why, and I was trying to figure out why, and I was like, it's just such a human experience that like for some reason it's just like so funny to be
you're like the star. I'm not surprised at all that Jackie would like.
You also get to stand in judgment of other people. That's fun.
Awesome.
But like I didn't even.
I'm in the they picked only 12 of us, and I'm a part of it. and I get to
Yeah, it's just a
judge
picky
you.
bitch.
Those are yeah. You're that bitch.
It does like make me, because like I was saying, like the second I turned 18, they've like asked. I've turned down jury duty like 7 times. Like the fact that they want me so bad does make me kind of like.
You've turned it down.
I just like postpone it.
You can just do that. I don't think I've even been invited.
This is why I'm kind of like, oh, you guys have never been asked to go to jury duty? That's crazy. But there's certain things I'm just like, this is so funny. It's just like a human experience that like people complain about, and like now I gotta be a part of like complaining about it. Like even, I don't know.
No, jury duty is one of like the most universal, like huff and puff, roll your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got jury duty. But the most, the most entertaining, like SVU and true crime docs and all that shit is about that.
Right.
But when like all of a sudden you're a part of it, you're like, oh no, that doesn't mean that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, like I'm in $4,000 of credit card debt, and like I keep saying that, and like low-key, I think I'm like so stoked to be $4,000 in credit card debt, because like it's so funny to just be like, well, I'm in $4,000 in credit card debt, and that's something that like
Let's talk, Jack.
Yeah, I shouldn't.
That's not like a human experience. That's
No,
fun.
but like sometimes just like
That's
it's
not
your
a-
20s, like.
But like,
I get what you mean.
You're only temporarily in debt, right?
I actually did say that,
Count,
and,
I
like-
don't count credit card debt as debt.
Yeah, it's actually, it doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, I'm in a ton of credit card debt right now.
Yeah.
I'll pay it.
We went through this, right? You know about like the 25%, right?
Kind of. I know we've
It does
talked
keep
about
building
it.
quick.
Yeah.
I will say, like that is kind of scary.
It's like
Explain this one to me, please.
Yeah. Like when you see like 25% like APR, that's like the rate of interest that accrues on your debt. So if it just sits there, it's $4,000 now, but it'll be like $4,250 in a little bit, and then $4,500, and then it'll be $5,000, and then.
But I pay my statement balance every month.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's like no.
That's good. Like
you
that's what I
should
think.
make your payment every month, and then there's minimum payments you have to make. But the longer that you leave that there, the more money you will pay. Now, sometimes I do think it makes sense where it's like, yes, this is accruing more interest, but right now I need cash for this, that, or the other. But if you are like not hurting for money, you probably should just pay it off, because by letting it sit there, you will absolutely be paying them more money.
I basically whack it every month. I'm in credit card debt for the month till the end of the month, and then I pay it.
Yeah,
That's like not credit card debt.
No, I wouldn't say that either. But it's when it's a bigger number and really starts to accrue and you can't pay it that you're fucked. But even then, I feel like
I've had it up around like 25, 30.
Yeah. I mean, and then the interest is going to be higher because
I'll pay when I get to it.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, I'll get the money at some point.
Well, that
like I'm
this
good
is
for
why-
my IOUs.
This is
I
why
got you.
Berlin's talking for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think there is something to like money is just like this construct, right? That like as long as you are employed and don't think you're ever going to like totally crash out on life and like bottom out, like you'll get there. You know what I mean? Like if you needed to get a house right now, your credit would stink. That's not.
No,
a good
I
time.
got great credit.
But that's what I mean. As long as your credit is good,
Does it affect my credit?
if you don't pay your credit card bill, yes,
Why?
because you're not paying your credit.
I know, but that's narky. Like, why do you guys have to like alert the authorities about it? I'll get you the money at some point. Not right now.
Jackie's whole thing to like American Express while they're talking to the bank is, I'm good for it. bro.
Yeah, like,
I'm just good for it.
I've been good for it for like 3 years.
No,
I'm good for it every
actually
time.
do. I mean, it's the same thing. Like a mortgage is just a big fat pile of debt, but you buy stuff with it. Like if you know how to manage your debt, you actually can use it to your advantage to be more financially successful and property and assets and all that sort of shit. It's when you're just reckless and you don't ever pay it. It's like if you can loan me money and I can do things with it, and I got to pay you back a little bit on it, but I'm good for it. You actually can use it to your advantage. It's just the people who are reckless with it that are in trouble.
The first time I learned about credit card debt
Was like 6 months ago.
About 10 years after having a credit card.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, my credit must be a disaster scene.
I've had that never.
Perfectly fine.
I've never been below like even like 700 or some shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like high 700s, I think.
Yeah, I do think it takes a lot to be a problem.
Yeah. Just
And
don't even
I
think
also
about
think I one time I dipped into like the sixes and I paid. I had like 30 grand in debt or whatever, and I whacked it. I was able to pay it all off, and it like just went back up.
Yeah.
But again, these are like we are in a pretty good spot. It's people who are like, I opened up a credit card because I have no money and I bought something with it, and then I never pay it off, and the collection agencies come and all that shit, and then you get another credit card to pay off that, and then you spiral. Those are the people. I think when you carry around $4,000 worth of debt and you're just like, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it for the story. I wouldn't. I don't think it's the most interesting story to run up interest on your debt. But if you like telling it, girl, you go ahead and do that. You want to do jury duty in debt? You do that.
They'd be like, dude, how much money you got? I think he's not guilty.
But yeah.
All right, good stuff. Let's get into our interview with Joe List. The NBA is finally back, and a new season means it's new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of the NBA player props. Props have just taken over the world. It's crazy.
Props
man.
are big.
I mean,
they are the most fun thing to bet.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when we
the
first
instant gratification, you have to wait till the end of the game.
Yes,
I guess
right away.
Do.
Well, but if somebody
you can go first point, first touchdown. I imagine his first basket.
If you hit once you hit a point total or something like that, it ain't going away. I did see Tua. He had 254 yards and finished the final play of the game. They took like a 23-yard sack. Brutal, man. But anyway, we're talking NBA. All sorts of props for your team, for your favorite star, whoever it is. So place your first bet on something simple. You can pick a team to win, or you can get more complicated with the props and parlays like we're talking about. All of that is available at the DraftKings Sportsbook right now. If it's your first time, new customers, you bet $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's when you use code KFC. So download the Sportsbook DraftKings app today. Use code KFC. Put down a $5 bet, and you get $200 in bonus bets whether you hit or not. Just bet $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. What the fuck? Like nobody, as big as Tony got. Like I don't think anybody knew who he was on their side or
right.
They're probably who the fuck is Tony Hinchcliffe and why is our campaign over now?
Well, it's a crazy booking. It's funny because Anthony Cumia of all people had like the best tweet about it. I thought.
What did he say?
He was just like, "This is such a." I forget how he worded it. Whatever. He was like, "This is such a huge fuck up by the Republican." He's like, "The talk should be like a Republican candidate just sold out an arena in a blue city.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like you've just given red meat to people that were going to call it a Nazi
I was
rally
like,
anyway.
is he secretly working for Kamala? Was he a mole who bombed on purpose to? Because I mean, it feels that way more than And I just found out. I think you were the one who told me that they went over his material.
Really?
The only thing they said was that you can't call her a cunt.
Yes.
You called her that, and they had to take that out. Everything else good to go. That's the craziest part.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that guy's got to get fired, right?
Whoever saw the speech?
Yeah, whoever was like, yep, like green light.
Right.
We're going to love this.
Yeah. No, I mean, so Tony does the roast and then, kind of is anointed as like the next one, everybody's booking and he's selling out. And then something like that happens. Is there no such thing as bad publicity, or was that a bad move that he'll feel the ramifications of that?
I don't know. I think in that world there is no thing. I don't know. I mean, I feel like somebody said he added 50,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing is, you get caught on camera saying something or doing something, and if it rallies people more, you might lose the people who don't like that, but it rallies 5 times more the people who do support you for it.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone that was a Tony fan going in was like, I'm out now.
Right.
But maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm not I don't know.
I think there's a handful of Puerto Ricans who were probably like, fuck off.
But if you were a Tony fan already, you knew you don't care. Yeah. I think ultimately it doesn't. It's like it's fun to talk about for a week, but I would guess ultimately it doesn't really affect the election and it doesn't affect Tony.
The only thing is that it's so close to the election because it'll last about a week, but the election's in a week, bro.
Right, and everyone's early voting. It's also crazy that like the October surprise is like this guy I know. Like, it's like so crazy, and then Trump is like being like, I don't know, and I've never heard of this guy, and it's just insane.
That like when the assassination attempt happened, I was like, oh boy, that's it. Like the images and the fervor coming out of this, like. they've got it wrapped up. But it was long enough that kind of faded out.
Right.
But this thing happened at the fucking 11th hour, man. And I would imagine like we said about people who are like Tony and certain states that are already, set in their ways. But if you're a swing state and you're Puerto Rican, it might be on your mind.
Yeah, you know what was crazy is yesterday we had to go to Philly for a little bit, and we were just driving on the highway, and it was insane. Every billboard, we were driving on the highway, and I was like, God damn, where the fuck are we? Because every billboard was either Harris Trump, Harris Trump, Harris Trump.
I usually don't think that stuff, like, same thing with like Bud Light and Coors Light at like the Super Bowl and stuff. But I guess it does, you do have to like keep up and keep in front of people's faces. But I can't imagine, anybody's really being swayed that much at this point, unless maybe you're Puerto Rican. I don't know.
I mean, it's also funny, like, billboards in general are hilous to be like driving and be like, all right, I'm voting Kamala. No, I'm voting Trump. Like, look at that. That's a good mile. No, there's such good photos.
I was down in North Carolina over the summer, and there was this like a local law guy, like an ambulance chaser type lawyer down there, who it was something like 15 billboards in a row. And they were all pretty close. But it worked because I was like, I guess it didn't work because I can't remember his name. But I do remember being like.
But you drove it every day, you would.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, and if you had an injury, you'd be like,
that's the first
I got to get to exit 48 and see this guy's number.
Salino and Barnes around here. It's like, if I ever, or mesothelioma or whatever, I'll call those guys up.
Well, that's the billboards, I think, work for something that you're not that familiar with, but you might need at some point.
Yeah.
A carpet cleaner, and then you spill on your rug, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I think that with, like, in Boston, like, the big sponsor for the Red Sox for years was 1-800-54-GIANT. If you break your windshield.
Call Giant Glass, baby.
So, yeah, and then I'm like, so now it's in my head.
That's such a weird thing, but if you ever break your windshield.
Yeah, I was like, oh, 1-800-54-GIANT. Got it.
Yeah.
You know Giant Glass because Drinkwater. The guy behind home plate.
He owns it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys in the world. Dennis Drinkwater.
I don't even
You don't know Dennis Drinkwater?
You know. He's
I'm sure
the Red Sox fan who gets up like as soon as the ball's hit from the home runs.
Oh, God.
He was more. Can we
I gotta pull up.
Dude, this guy.
It's unbelievable.
He's season ticket holder, right?
Oh, yeah.
He sits front row and has the best eye for pop-ups, knows when it's a walk-off, and he hits the aisle and he is gone, bro.
It is it's actually, I honestly think he doesn't go as often anymore. He was more like early 2000s to mid 2000s, like let's call it 2004 2014, that window. And he was there.
Dennis Drinkwater, you just type it. First of all, it's a great name, Dennis Drinkwater.
Yeah.
Type it in and it auto fills beat the traffic.
Yeah. But he like in that era, he doesn't go as often anymore, but in that era, I would argue he was more devoted to the Red Sox than players on the team. Because I
don't even know this guy.
He was there like every single night, and I believe he lived in Wellesley or something like that. So it's not like he didn't live across the street,
right?
So to make that trek to the park, he would go every night. Like he was 86 games a year, 81.
What, the guy in the blue? You'll see him just like pop up. Right
oh wow!
And he does it like every time. Doesn't even take a minute to celebrate the walk itself. He's just
okay. I have seen this guy. Oh, he's like leaving.
Yeah, he's got like almost like a Trump type hair. Like he's very recognizable.
That's old school because the Coke bottles are in it.
Yeah. It was.
He knows and he's out.
He's there occasionally still now, but there was one era when he was just like always there. He's the best.
So that is amazing.
He knows it every single time.
That's so funny because the best part you would think is that
moment.
It's like, beating the traffic. I guess.
He's I'm out here. See you later.
That is incredible. No, I couldn't be that guy because I'm the worst ever at I've had so many jump up that like get caught in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do it when I was like at bars watching games. I'd be like, guys, like, oh shit! And like literally, it's like infield fly roll, and I'm like,
the Yankees had one a couple games ago that it was probably 50 feet from the warning track.
That was
he went nuts for it.
That was a comedian there, Mike Dorval, the construction guy.
Giant Glass. It's funny these things. You go to like a minor league park and the wall and everything is just plastered with ads like everywhere.
1-800-54. Gary Gulman used to do a joke about it when he would come to Boston. It was like a local. He's like, I like thinking of them in the studio. Who do you call when your windshield's busted? He's also like, it's like the most Boston term to say my windshield's busted.
Also, is there just like a spate of like, are people just breaking windshields left and right in Boston?
Well,
vandalism and Yankee fans and fighting or some shit. I don't know. How often is a windshield break?
It makes sense for Fenway though, because you have the parking garage across the street from the monster. But literally, like my windshield got chipped one time, and like it was like immediately like 1-854 Giant done deal, and you're like, oh, that's.
These guys, whether it's local or even the Billy Mazes of the world, the ShamWows, all the infomercials, they're at least in America. I don't know about worldwide, but they're like some of the most famous people in America. Like everybody would know those people.
Who?
Just like the infomercial guys. You know what I mean? The specific ones. If you were to show them.
But not anymore. It's a dying industry. Everyone's all streaming.
I was going to say, it's not, you really don't have that anymore. Like we all used to be watching the same commercials and the same thing every time. And I'm sure it was regional, but within your region, everybody would know. Celino and Barnes or this guy or that guy. It's a weird... Like if I were to meet some of those people, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be starstruck by the infomercial guy,
Yeah, all those jingles. We had Dave Dinger Ford, and Braintree was another big Boston one. Dave Dinger Ford. That was like a car dealership.
I didn't have that.
If I met the guy who sung Cars for Kids, I'd be like, oh my God, you're a musical legend.
That one, when that commercial come on, I have to like jump for the remote because it'll stick in my head for like a month.
Forever.
Pabs, can you actually pull up the original recording of Baby Back Chili's?
Obviously, it's not like but like this song has a high level of importance.
Yeah.
It's not like a song, but to the brand and the people who made it and the money it generated and all that shit, they're probably like, this is one of the most important recordings ever made.
Oh, it's the definition of iconic.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure these guys got like $5,000.
Yeah.
And it's listened to more than most records in the last 30 years.
100%.
And if you walk up to anybody and go like, I want my baby back, baby, they'd be like, Chili.
Right.
There is no mistaking it at
they should have
all.
gotten equity in the Chili's, like
the whole chain
brand.
Yeah. I bet they, got like a day rate and that's it.
Right.
Fucking sucks.
Before we get too far from the Sox, you watched the comeback yet?
I have not yet.
No way, dude.
I have. Well, I was on the road, and the other thing is, I don't know. I have a fucked up thing here. Like sometimes I'm like, I can't watch it. First of all, it makes me emotional, but also I'm like, that's ours. I don't want the world to see that. I don't know. It's like it's a weirard thing. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I can't relive. I don't.
Well,
it's like,
let
I don't
me
know
just
what
let
it
you know.
is.
The rest of the world knows what happened.
I have a blockage. I should watch.
I had a blockage too because it was 20 years ago. But I think you've maintained your baseball fandom. Mine's kind of waned a bit over the last 3 to 4 years of Sox decline, and like I'm fully back. I'm like the biggest baseball fan in the world. I don't think I've missed a game. It's obviously been the playoffs since then. I don't think I've missed a game since I watched it. It is awesome.
That was a very great team to root for. Because it had stars, but it also had baseball guys, and it had, obviously the theater and the curse and all of that. But like they're actually probably a very hateable team if you're like the Yankees. I'm sure they hate some of those guys. But the rest of the world,
they're a bunch of peasants.
Right. Yeah, that
obviously not as far as spending goes, but the players themselves are act like peasants.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like the best kind of baseball to root for, those guys.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I gotta watch it. It's hard to watch. I have a baby, and then I'm working and all this stuff, and I'm exhausted.
3 episodes?
3 episodes. Each is an hour. First episode is the 2003 season, so it ends with the Boone home run.
Right.
Second episode is the off season, which like that was one of the craziest parts to me. Just like the arms race, like it was
right.
Like I think obviously last season we had Shohei, but really the bulk of the offseason is like, where's Jordan Montgomery going?
Right.
That was Schilling, Sheffield, A-Rod, Manny, Nomar, like Keith Falk, like tons of massive names all going to 2 teams.
Crazy.
Right. No, and then the Sox, if I remember correctly, like had A-Rod, but the players union kind of
they
squashed it.
It was they had sent
why
which Theo got bailed out on because it was a bad trade. Well, I don't know if it's a bad trade, but like ultimately you probably don't win at least at 07, you probably definitely don't win. But it was Manny and John Lester for A-Rod.
Right.
And then it was Nomar to the White Sox. The Nomar fall from grace, which obviously I remembered.
Wait, so they would have lost Nomar, Lester, and Manny.
Yeah. Which they ultimately ended up losing Nomar anyway, like 3 months later.
Right. But they didn't lose him. They got him for
Orlando Cabrera.
Which ended up being like
But the original Nomar trade was to the White Sox. When they shipped out Manny and got A-Rod, they shipped out Nomar. And that was for Maglio Ordonez and Brandon McCarthy. So and then 5 months later, whatever, then that was in the offseason. And then the trade deadline, they finally got rid of for Orlando Cabrera and Doug McCavich. So the fall from
Doug
grace.
Batman Cavich.
You got a great glove.
To get Maglio Ordonez, who's a borderline Hall of Famer, probably not. And then Brandon McCarthy, who was, a 10-year.
Yeah, like
he was a solid pitcher.
Yeah.
He wasn't great, but he was.
I mean, A-Rod would have off the wall.
I mean, A-Rod at Fenway.
60.
Yeah, he would have 60.
Yeah, so that's one of the great what ifs of sports history. But I think the way it played out is even better.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if college football has a lot of rivalries and whatnot. But I just feel like with the way sports has gone and brands and the internet and all this shit, I just don't know if there will ever be blood feud type rivalry like that ever again.
Well, it was pretty amazing. Well, also the whatever they called it, the lopsided scheduling or whatever. Well, they were playing 14 times a year or 18 times a year.
I think it's 19 times a year if you're in division. Yeah, so it's you see those guys over and over. Now it's only getting worse.
Right, and then to have back-to-back 7-game series. So you had 14 post games and 36 regular season games in 2 years.
Crazy.
In 2 seasons. And then they also were in the ALCS in 99 and had a brawl with the Clemens and Manny.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. So it was like a 5-year period of just brawls and all that shit.
I believe I remember reading, this is a long time ago I read it, but in 03, which is the Pats already won 2 Super Bowls, one Super Bowl. In 03, a Sox Rays Tuesday game would outperform a Pats game on Sunday.
Ratings wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
That to what it is now
town. Yeah.
is
that's the Tom Brady effect.
Yeah.
That's Tom Brady for you right there in a nutshell once he took over. But yeah, I mean it was baseball over everything. And then also, I think once you break your curse and you win a few, it just becomes.
I think that's more we were talking about this the other day. Actually, it's hard to keep the passion with how sports are marketed now,
right?
Because it's not about rivalries; it's about individual players,
stars.
Which, to be fair, we cried about forever. We'd be like, they don't know how to market their players. Well, now they market players rather than teams.
Otani's and
it's hard to keep that anger.
It's the thing that people were complaining about, this many at bats till Otani's up.
Yeah.
Is kind of symbolic of how it shifted to that. So then it's I was at my kid's little league, there was a kid wearing a Mookie Betts jersey. I was like, the fuck is this about? We're in New York. What are you doing wearing a Dodgers jersey from LA?
Right.
But Mookie Betts is his favorite player, and knows the name and all that shit. Who's just got to be sick to his stomach is Mike Trout. Oh my god, just Ohtani goes and wins the World Series 1 year after getting out of town, and he's probably too injured to ever really finish his career strong, and it's gonna just be oh yeah, there was this guy who was the best player of all time, but he never really did anything. That's really gonna be 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. That will be, people will be oh, who was that guy?
I hope he's the death of, and I think we did. I think it's come back to earth, but of analytics. I believe in analytics, all that good shit, but I do think everything has a bit of a middle ground.
Right.
Look at his WAR. He hasn't, and I know baseball is far from an individual sport, but make it the DS for me before we start crowning a guy.
Yeah. You got to do something in the postseason.
Those numbers: 840, 18, 10 for home runs last few years.
Yeah, I mean he's just so injured, and it's just not
tough.
I think Tito.
Also, you've been playing. When you're 32, but you started when you're 19.
Right.
You got a lot of extra miles on you there.
Tito, I think, was, and good for the Reds to have him, the best manager of in between. Because Tito respected analytics, believed in them, but also knew they weren't everything.
Right.
And they asked him about that, where they were the Dave Roberts steal. Analytics will tell you, don't ever steal a base.
Right.
And he
had to steal.
He goes, what they go? What do you say about the analytics on that one? He goes, I say shove them up your fucking ass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fuck the analytics, dude. That individual play, I think, is also one of the greatest little cat and mouse things you'll ever watch. You know, like
him making
like
that face, when he's
whole fucking world knows what's going on. Throws over however many times.
He says that, dude. He says exactly that.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts, he's talking about his high school, maybe college, like running coach or base stealing coach, wherever he got this base stealing coach from, I don't know. And he said, he told me, like, early on, one day you're going to be out of base and the whole world's going to know you're going, and you're still got to go.
Oh, no, it was the best. It was the best, and one of those throws was so close.
I just started
I bet, man. Like,
no, I mean, and Millar drawing the walk, and then Miller hitting the base hit. I mean, it's just, and then Dave Roberts with the pop-up slide.
Like the fact that you stole the base, but you got to get the fucking hit.
Yeah.
And they did. It's just like so unbelievable.
Bill Miller had a good quote about that where he's like, look, you don't go into an at-bat hoping to get a hit off Mariano Rivera. You know the only way you're going to get a hit is if he makes a mistake. So you go in
and you got to capitalize on the mistake.
Right.
Like you get maybe one pitch per at-bat to, It
was also like people weren't really shifting then. I mean, it's a ground ball up the middle, and it feels like 10 years later, the shortstop would have just gobbled it right up.
And that's where analytics does sort of...
particularly off Bill Miller. I don't have... I'm sure he went oppo plenty of times, but like I remember Bill Miller is a big pull guy.
Right.
Now, I mean, a ground ball up the middle now, like if you hit the ball back at the pitcher for the first 130 years of baseball, it's like that's a base hit.
Yeah.
And now every time there's a shortstop right there. Like, they figured out the exact spot to put these guys. I think people forget how much like getting rid of the shift, I think, drastically changed the game back in a way that
I love it.
Like,
I loved every
it's so
change
much
they
better.
made. Yeah,
but it is like it's got to be infuriating if you are one of these teams that lived through the transition of like when you were allowed to and now you're not allowed to, and you're in the playoffs, you're in a big spot, and we could just put a guy in shallow right field and he'll be out.
Yeah.
We're just not allowed to anymore. And then he hits the ball right fucking there, and you're like, God damn it, dude. But it got so silly towards the end. I think it was the Dodgers at one point had like 5 guys in the infield. It was just like a wall of dudes just waiting there because it was like,
But we had, I always remember this quote. We had George Brett in the office eons ago, and we were talking. He was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He was so fucking
lived
awesome.
up to like everything you ever want from George Brett.
We were talking about all kinds of stuff like, what was your off-season training routine? He's like every day I probably play 18, drink 12. But we were asking him about the shift, and he goes, if the shift was around when I was playing, I'd have hit 600. And we were like, why? He goes, I'd have hit it the other way because I can. Yeah, and I was like, it's so fucking cool
every fucking time. Like to be able to put a ball where you want to put it, like the Gwynns and the like guys like that. It's like I'm not gonna get a hit. I'm gonna get like the hit I need to get at the time.
Right.
Do you have any like older player or even comedian or anything like that who you met and you were like, dude, you are everything you lived up to be?
Wow, great question. I don't know. First, I just want to say George Brett, the shitting the pants story is like my number one. It's like still the king of the internet.
It really is. It was at the perfect time where we were able to get it, for whatever reason. He's mic'd up and that makes its way to the internet. I don't even know. Was that on social media? That was probably on like YouTube. Maybe
I think it was on YouTube. Yeah, George Brett has a story to tell. Was the
that perfect double tapered shit. I still don't really
double
know what double
tapered
shit means.
The best line of the whole thing is who's pitching this game?
At the very end,
it's like the perfect
so what's going on? Yeah.
Who's pitching this game?
Go to the very very end.
And what I love about this is he's not telling the story to anyone in particular.
Nobody's listening. He's just talking.
He's walking around, and what always made me laugh is that this is like spring training. Like guys are trying to make the club.
Yeah.
Like they're nervous. They're trying to make the club. And he's just walking around. And this is like 20-year-old kids like, I hope I make the team. And a fucking Hall of Famer is just talking to nobody. And also it starts with him going, I farted. That's the first line is I farted. And the last line is who's pitching this game?
Porter. Porter's also such a like fake baseball name. Hey, Porter, shit my pants last night. What?
He goes, I'm good for 2 a year. It's amazing. I got black bucks.
Great
I'm
feeling.
fucked.
Great fucking feeling.
When he says I'm fucked, it's amazing. He goes, I'm wearing black bucks. I'm fucked.
It's arguably the greatest story ever told.
It really is. And it's long enough that it's ridiculous, short enough that you can live good
twice a year.
It's so good.
What's that some shit, man? He goes, I don't know, a long time. Honestly,
and he clarifies it many times. It's a true story. It's a true story.
It's too much.
I mean, this is when baseball players were men.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's the greatest. But
yeah, what year was that?
It's got to be Tony Pena.
By the way, that's not the Bellagio story. That's not what it's called. That's the George Brett Pants story.
Yeah.
The original YouTube, it was titled George Brett Has a Story to Tell. I don't know if that's still up there, because I'm wondering how many views that has or when it got uploaded, if it's still titled that anywhere.
That is...
And the nobody's interested in listening to this story.
They're all just stretching, walking around. It makes you think that they were,
so that's 11 years ago.
There's no way.
No way.
But
No.
even that one only having 1.2 is crazy. That lets you know that like this happens all the time with George Brett. The stories he's telling are always just like, oh, there goes George again. Just fucking talking, dude. But yeah, the grainy footage and look at the whole transcript of this one. It's incredible. It really is. Probably, if you're a sports fan, and you enjoy some storytelling and some comedy, it's the perfect fucking...
No, I just spent an afternoon watching, I was in a hotel that had an MLB network, and it was like the George Brett story, and it was great. The craziest thing is him and Nettles getting in a full fist fight and no one gets ejected.
Yes.
In a playoff game.
Incredible.
They're kicking each other and punching each other in the face. All right, boys, settle down.
Hosmer and Moustakis, or whoever their podcast, what's that called?
I wouldn't know, but I know.
Hosmer's podcast, and they were talking about that Digging Deep podcast, and they go over that, and I mean it is a fucking brawl.
Yeah,
and nobody even gets ejected.
And then they just go back. He's on third base. Yeah, it's like okay.
It was so good. That there's something else to that story that they told. It was kind of like a misunderstanding. Like there really wasn't a need to have a fight. Whatever it was kind of just like we brawled for no fucking reason, and then it was like, yeah, we'll just go back to the dugout.
It's crazy to think that now things are happening that in 40 years people are gonna be like, you didn't even get kicked out for that.
Yeah,
like you think of Mike Milbury beating someone with a shoe, and you're like, yeah, that was just hockey.
Yeah, that's how it was. But what are they even doing now?
I think about this a lot because when I was a kid in the 90s, 2000s, watching baseball highlights from the 70s, and then these older guys at the bar be going, that's when baseball was baseball. Yeah. And now people are saying that about 03, 04.
Right.
But 03, 04, everyone was like, these guys are a bunch of pussies now. Because in my day, Don Zimmer, they would have stomped Don Zimmer's face.
They would have hard stomped him, killed him.
But now you watch it, you're like, they just threw an old man on the ground back then. So everyone thinks everyone's a pussy, basically.
Yeah. Pedro grabbed an 80-year-old man by his ears and fucking threw him to the ground.
The way he just rolls is so good, man.
But I think also hockey, eventually fighting will be gone, and they'll be like back in 2024.
They used to fighting in hockey is kind of crazy that they still allow that. I'm surprised
it's
that's
so
not
rare now, but But Missoula was just saying they should bring back the NBA. I almost said WNBA.
That's crazy.
Bring it both.
I mean, it was never really
Manny holding the bat.
Oh, so good. The Kareem Garcia bit with Pedro was always great too. Who is Kareem Garcia? Who are you? When he was trying to say he wasn't throwing at him, he was like, you were blatantly headhunting Pedro.
Yeah.
He was like the most notorious headhunter in the world.
Who was the guy on the Rays he hit, and then he threw a perfect game after
Gerald Williams.
Yeah. He charges, and then I think he pitches 8 1/3 perfect innings after getting in a brawl. Or no hit innings or something.
Dude, the way he just tosses Zimmer. What was Zimmer even thinking, bro?
Zimmer throws the first punch. Zimmer has an arm.
He goes at him. Pedro was but I think even the guys on the Red Sox were like, dude, take it easy.
He can't beat up an octogenarian.
You might kill him, dude.
When I'm watching the Sox doc, I stood up my hotel. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, dude, the theater was unparalleled. Again, you couldn't script it.
I remember this is so humiliating, but I was young and I was 21 when this happened, 22. But I remember being like, he's a fucking traitor, because he was he'd manage the Sox.
Yeah.
He's like, you fucking traitor, stay down. And my dad's like, come on, just relax. I'm like, traitor. He had the gig 25 years ago.
It is nuts that the I was like, why did they put the comeback out now? And they're like, oh, it's the 20th anniversary. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me
because
wanna,
I always
cry.
think about like when I was, growing up in the 90s, if you were to tell me something about the 70s, I would be like, oh, it's ancient, almost like roll my eyes. I don't want to hear about that shit. And that's probably what, like the comeback to like a young kid on TikTok is probably like, I don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you gotta.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't understand. It was the best. And they're probably like, I don't give a fuck. It happened in 2004. Like, that's so old. It's like, no, I promise you.
My mom wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, right. But I just maintain, whether it's sports like this or music or some of the movies, entertainment, I do just think that era, it is better than it is better.
Kevin does he's like, I know I sound crazy, but I'm right.
But I do think I'm right. I think it was the last bit of like before the internet. It was like, because like the 60s, 70s, 80s, all that shit feels like the same to me. And then it feels like in the 90s into the 2000s, it started to change, but you just had, it's like the baseball. It's like Tito Francona.
Yeah.
That era is Tito Francona. It's like you had a little bit of both, the new and the old, before it just all goes to absolute shit. I mean, what would you say? I know we're kind of in like a gold era of comedy as far as like money and success and opportunity and all that. But what do you think is it the funniest comedy's been?
It's an interesting question because comedy holds up so poorly.
Yeah.
It's one of the great and horrible things about comedy. Like, you watch almost any comedy from the 80s, you're like, this shit's garbage.
Yeah.
And you're like, this guy's one of the best ever? But
Right.
It's so, I don't know. It's hard to say, like, funniest, because you watch 80s comedy and you're like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right.
But
But
like a regular open micer like nowadays is putting up shit that, the best of the best. Like, do you think that it'll age that way? Do you think people will be looking at the greats of this era being like, that's fucking embarrassing?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe it's weird to think about watching like Shane Gillis and being like, "This guy sucks."
Yeah, like you're fucking lame, dude. Like that's
Right.
so lame.
Yeah, but even like you watch like Eddie Murphy stuff, like half of it, I'm like, oh, this isn't so great.
Yeah.
Is it bad or like is it just like poorly done, or is like the material? Like what about it is bad in your eyes?
I don't know. It's not even like bad. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's just taken out of the time. It doesn't work as well as film or sports. Like, you can watch a 1975 basketball game and be like, this is a little weird, but it's competitive. They're all playing the same way. I don't know what it is, but I do think this is a great time for but there's also so much horrible comedy going on right now too. I mean, I can't say that Instagram crowd work stuff is the glorious part of stand-up comedy. Maybe right before Instagram, social media.
I do feel though when you get a good crowd work bit, like how much crowd work was going on back then? Was it still a part of the?
There was just crowd work comics and not like there was like a few crowd work guys, and then everyone else was like, "That's embarrassing. Why are you talking to the audience?"
Yeah, because I feel like when you get a good crowd work bit, it shows that it was off the cuff, it was unplanned, like, and you were funny on your feet, and it all comes together. And then some of it is, I love when you just wedge your material into a crowd work. What do you do for a living? Oh, that's like this, and you just like pivot to your joke. It's like crowd work all of a sudden, But I do feel like it became like a big part of what I think people love about this era of comedy. And I don't think it was as nearly, done or talked about prior.
No, nobody really did it at all. I mean, certainly you wouldn't put out a special of
right.
I mean, I
think
Todd Barry was the first one that did, which was, I don't know, 10 years ago now, 15 years ago. I can't keep track of time, but there was very few people that did that. And there'd be a couple guys. There was a couple guys that were like, that's their thing. Yeah. Ian Bagg has always been doing that and was big. And Phil Hanley later is like a peer that would do it. And was like amazing at it, and still is. So it's great for him that it's like, this is what I've been doing the whole time.
This is
he's the
forte,
best.
Yeah,
but it's hard because a lot of crowd work, it's like, well, you should be the funniest one in the room. Like, you should be able to take what somebody's saying and make it funny.
Agreed.
And the hard thing about comedy is getting everybody to connect with something. And so if you're doing it in the room, it's easier to connect because it just happened.
Yeah.
I always use this as an example. Jeff Ross used to do a joke where he used to read poems years ago, and then he would say, can we turn the lights down? And then they wouldn't move, and it'd go, perfect. And it would kill because you're like, well, everyone just experienced that.
Yeah.
He asked me to turn the lights down. The lights didn't go down, so he says perfect. Everybody relates to it. It just happened. Whereas like if you're like, you ever take a shower and you have to shit and people are like, no,
that's
I've never had that. So it's
the George
harder.
Brett's of the world.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
no,
like-
dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like trickier to get like kind of whatever observational humor to work. But if someone says, yeah, I once blew a kid in a school bus, you're like, well, hey, the driver or whatever. Everyone's like, oh, Jesus, you know. So it's a little bit easier, but also there's plenty of people who do crowd work and they're horrible at it, which I always joke. Sometimes I'll be like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm going to do some crowd work because I don't want to give away material. And I'll literally be like, what do you do? And the guy's like, I'm in accounting. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just having a conversation with you. Like,
It's like, I don't
crowd
know.
work, yeah.
Yeah. It's so
Accounting?
there is some skill to it, of course, but yeah, Nick DiPaolo used to always say, he'd be like, yeah, you're funny off the cuff. That's why you start writing jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
You should be funny off the cuff.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I think it, it just puts it. It's like a club in your bag. You know what I mean? It's like I
Right.
can do the written jokes, I can do some storytelling, I can do some crowd work, and you kind of put it all together. DeStefano just posted a video of him doing like a little history bit. Did you see this?
No.
He was talking about how America beat the British to win our independence, and he just tells the story about how one of the chicks that Benjamin Franklin was fucking was banging King Louis, and Benjamin Franklin told her, next time you're with Louis, tell him that at the Battle of Saratoga, where America, the colonies, won, but like barely. But tell him that we smoked them and that we are like winning this war and we just need to be like put over the top. So tell Louis to tell the French to send their army, send their navy, and like we'll seal the deal. And I was like, wow. And he's like, I just made all this up. I mean, it's a long clip. He tells it very funny. And at the end, he's like, the best
so
part
funny.
is I kind of just made all of that up. And I almost didn't make it to the end of it because it is like a few minutes. And I was and actually at the time, I reposted it without even getting to the end of it because I was like, this is amazing. This is Chris at his best. But at the end, he's like, I just made it all up.
As you were talking, I was thinking, I was like, it's crazy how time makes stories so much better. Like, I'm sure even the one where I just told, like, the Pedroia, like, I'm sure Pedroia wasn't like, you want it still bouncing down fucking Mass Pike. Like, he probably was like,
said it.
Like,
I hit a home run the other day. Yeah.
Come on, man, I hit a home run.
Right.
And now it's like this very defiant moment.
Yep.
And
once you got a story, I feel like you're allowed to embellish it. Once you know you got like the fish on the line.
Yeah,
it's like when something happens to you and you tell the story for the first time and everyone's like, whoa, holy shit. You're allowed to punch it up. You know?
Well, there's so many great stories to that. People are like, that never happened. Like the Ricky Henderson, John Olerud story.
Yes.
They're like, that's not
didn't
real.
happen?
Yeah, no. And then when you hear that it's not real, you're like, yeah, obviously we know who he is.
not.
He's like,
Yeah,
they're on a
yeah,
plane
it makes
together
no
like
fucking
every
sense.
day.
You know, we were talking about that the other day, actually, with like interviewing or hearing interviews from famous TV shows and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, Parks and Rec, like, we still have a group text. And you're like, you still have a group text? That's crazy. Like, yeah, no shit. They were friends for a decade.
Right.
Of course,
Yeah,
they
of
still
course.
talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. He was on the team for 5 years. Of course, he still knows his fucking teammates.
But that's where, I guess it's like, it's believable with Ricky Henderson. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So that's where the good stories lie, where it's like, well, that, I don't know, could have been true if
Yeah.
Ricky Henderson was that ridiculous. But
I just heard there's an old joke story about someone asking John Lennon, is Ringo the best drummer in the world? And he said he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. And then he never said that. I was like, damn it. And then you're like, well, who's writing these jokes? That's
Yeah.
a bad
how
joke.
these things
Who did
happen.
say that?
Yeah, but
that's
I always
funny.
think that too about like there's all the urban legends that like seem to kind of, whether you're from the 70s, 80s, 90s, now even into the internet era, like everybody knows these urban legends, but like somebody told that story for the first time. There's
Right.
some guy out there probably, in the 60s, 70s, 80s who was like, I told that story first. It was me. And now like the whole world thinks that, there was a cannibal or there was a this or that.
I think about that. Bill Burr used to do a bit about this, and I don't know if it's on any specials, but he had a joke about like these street jokes started somewhere. Someone's writing these jokes, and the joke he uses is, what's the difference between a Jew and a canoe? A canoe tips. And he's like, do you understand that's better than anything I've ever written? Right. And then the joke he does, he's like, that guy just, what if he's like the most brilliant comedian? He just can't get a job because he's so racist. Like they hire him for a TV show, and he's like, these fucking Puerto Rico, and they're like, you got to leave, Steve, or whatever. But it's like every street joke you've ever heard, somebody came up with that joke.
The very first time.
Yeah.
Just fucking murdered. And I guess there was just no way, though. I mean, in the beginning, there had to be so much joke stealing, right?
Oh, yeah.
When there was no internet, no, you're not even recording. It's like, I'll tell this story in Ohio, and I'm going to steal it and bring it to California, and no one's going to fucking know, right?
Yeah, of course. And now it's like, you say anything, someone's like, that's fucking someone's bit.
Right.
And then I'll go look at it, and I'm like, we both say water bottle. It's like not even close to the same bit.
No, and of course, like, there's going to be, like, topics that overlap. It's
of course,
only so many things people are talking about here.
What would you do if you found out someone was, like, really, really stealing your bits? Like, what is your, like, what is your rebuttal for that?
Now it's, like, so hard to get away that... I feel like only like a real like open micer brand new comic is doing that.
Yeah.
I've had a couple times where someone's like, hey, this person's taking all your stuff. And then you just go, hey, like you can't do that. What do you crazy? And usually they're like, oh, yeah. And usually they're like, oh, I'm a fan. I didn't know. Like it's like, I just feel like there's not a lot of blatant theft anymore. Or maybe there's
you're right. You're gonna, unless you really suck. If somebody is recording you,
right?
If you're good enough that like there's a camera on,
yeah,
you're gonna get caught.
Yeah,
and there's so many more fans now that would be like, I heard that already. Back
yeah,
then,
exactly.
I don't think that happened.
Exactly. I think when I started, it was much easier. And there's a few people kind of like famously would be taking jokes, and then in Boston, like comics would like beat you up. They'd go like,
I'm sure.
Around.
Yeah. I mean, that's my fucking,
But now I just think it's so rare. I think people know, and now it's like people are more likely to use AI to come up with jokes than stealing jokes from other people. And I've always thought it was annoying how quickly people go to like jump to like stealing jokes. And I've had comic, I won't name names, but I had a comic be like, I fired my opener, he was doing my bits. And I'm like, you think this young comic just decided to do your bit in front of you? You think it's impossible that he came up with something similar? And I was talking and I started in Boston, obviously. In Boston, they're extra like, fucking everyone's a thief, we're the fucking best.
We're the funniest. Yeah.
And there was a joke, a guy used an example, I gotta be careful because I don't want him to hear this, but he used an example of, in LA, there's a museum of, what's the word? Not acceptance of a word that's like acceptance. Inclusivity, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a museum. Can we look this up? LA Museum of fucking, what's one of those words? Acceptance?
Equality?
No. Oh, fuck me hard. What's the
social justice?
No,
museum?
No. It's I suck. I'm mad that I can't think of it.
That's a tough one.
You see, no, it's not even, because it's going to come up like, woke stuff or whatever. Oh, fuck me. I'll think of it. But anyways, he's like, it's the museum. This isn't going to work, but so this comic was talking. He's like, yeah, that guy stole my bit. I had a bit about the Museum of Acceptance, let's say. And I said, I went in there, I took a shit on the floor, and they threw me out. And he's like, this guy did the same bit, but he said, I'm pissing on the floor. And I'm like, do you think somebody couldn't come up with the Museum of Acceptance wouldn't let me shit on the floor? And this would be funnier if it's not.
No, but I know what you mean.
Something like that.
It's like,
I love you're just going to go through every museum.
in the world.
Appreciate it.
Where do you draw the line when you're writing jokes between I was inspired by this or like, it's too close? Like obviously
it's hard. I mean, do you listen to like podcasts and do you watch specials and stuff?
No,
if you hear something and it kind of gets in your brain, it's hard to.
I watch so little stand up now. I don't like watching specials, not because of that, because I know how much better the show was live. I try to watch comics live only because it's just how comedy should be. And even the best special, like Chris Rock, Bring the Pain, as amazing as it is, if you're in the room, it would be 50 times better.
Yeah.
So, and I also find just comedy cringy sometimes. I love it, but I'm like, in the room, even when I listened to myself from a year ago, I'm like, oh, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you're going to find it. I know it. Tolerance.
Tolerance.
That's it.
Let's
go. The Museum of Tolerance.
He's the worst Googler in the
world.
We'll
never call you a bad Googler again.
Win for you.
That's what it was. Yeah, the Museum of Tolerance. So anyways, the joke is, I took a shit on the ground. And then this guy, all of a sudden, I took a piss on the wall. And I'm like, you think maybe someone could have came up with They don't tolerate this.
Yeah.
Like that's impossible. They definitely stole your bit. Yeah. Anyways, back to what were we talking about? Oh, watching specials. So I try to watch stand up live, and I've done jokes where I'm like, wait, did I see Louis do this or Shane do this? And then I realize it's me. I did this joke. I'm like, oh, I'm stealing from myself. I'm like John Fogerty. I'm like, and I've literally had that recently where I'm doing a bit, and I'm like, I think I said this before. Like all of a sudden, and then you're like, wait, I did this bit
I've already
fucking
done
10 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
That's how you know you've been in it long enough that you're
you're
stealing from
repeating-
yourself.
Right.
That's
And
a good bit in its own right.
I try to really keep things personal. Like this happened. This is a thing that
Right,
happens
'cause
to me. So
nobody
it's going to be
can-
hard. Like my Uncle Dale did this. No one's going to be like, my Uncle Bob shot fire in my face. So that's what doing like topical is so hard now, which I never did anyways. But like by the time you watch like Seth Meyers' monologue, you're like, I've heard every single one of these jokes
Shit's
on
old
Twitter.
hat. Yeah.
Just so.
Well, that's the other thing too is like you see a random person with like the funniest tweet on topic, and it's like, well, now I've seen that, and I know that's the funniest thing to say about this topic, but I can't say it because this guy did. You know what I mean?
No, I mean in Instagram comments all the time, I see stuff that I'm like, this is the funniest thing I've ever read.
Yeah, and that's just we talked about it recently with somebody, another comic, where it was just like, the funniest guy in the world might just not have the drive, the ability, the time to go up on stage every night and all that shit. But if he did, but for one-off jokes here and there, it's like, this guy is the funniest person we know.
Yeah, no, I know a few people like that from Boston. My best friend, I'm like, he's way funny. I'm glad he's not a comic.
Well, that's the best when you can like take from your friends who aren't.
Yeah.
Like, that's good.
I
know that later.
I think
you go back to your boring life. I'm going to put that on the internet.
Right.
I think Kyle Kinane had a quote like that about like comics who have egos, which is like one of my favorites of it. Like where he was like, every comic is not the funniest one of their friends.
Right.
So any comic with an ego, tell them to fuck off or something like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good.
I had a question for you. I just thought when you mentioned Louis, how much time do you spend like writing movies versus or writing, any kind of a different medium versus stand up?
Not much. Not as much as I'd like to. Yeah. I always want to be.
Wait, you write more comedy? Or?
Yeah, more comedy. Well, now I have a baby, so everything's fucking topsy-turvy, which is the only reason I don't watch that many specials, because like when I get the free time, there's sports. And sometimes, do you guys ever get jealous of people that don't like sports? Because I'm like, so you just watch film? That's wonderful.
Bro, all the fucking time. I was, if it wasn't for the Mets' like magical season this year, I was really close to being like, I'm just going to be like a casual sports fan for the rest of my life. I'm not doing this anymore.
Dude, last night I was watching, I was flipping back and forth between a 6-2 Bruins game and a 7-0 in the third quarter football game, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah,
no,
and you could be watching like an Oscar-winning movie. Or
there's like endless amount of films and books, and I'm like, I'll talk to my buddy Ronan, who I do a movie podcast with sometimes, and he's just like, "Have you seen this? Oh, I watched this. Yeah, you got to watch this." And I'm like, "It's the World Series," and I'm so jealous of people that are like, "I don't care."
Bro, there was a month straight. The Mets trying to make the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, it was like I did nothing to watch this. And there's I
just stay up real late though. Like after the game finishes.
Well, that's the problem when you have when you have a baby, you got to get sleep, or you
don't know what it's like. But anyways, no, I mean I don't. It's so hard for me to motivate to write. I just made a documentary about my buddy Tom Dustin, who's a comedian, and I'm excited for it to come out. But that was easier because like I don't have to write anything. I can just follow him around with the camera. I have no discipline. At stand up, even it's hard to write, but at least I can be like, oh, that was hilarious. I'm going to go tell that on stage, and you can kind of do it that way. But sitting and writing, I wish I had the fucking discipline.
Dude, writing is. I think you have like a prime in writing, like sports almost.
Yeah,
I don't think I could go back to like what we used to do, like writing all day long.
Oh, probably not. Yeah. But like a lot of great writers did their writing later in life.
So then maybe it's just a window. I think. Like whether it happens early or later, I think you get dialed in on writing.
But
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'd say I would disagree with that because
I
get
just
better
feel like
with more experience. Like not experience writing, more experience living.
Life, yeah. But I don't know what I'm talking about. It's probably about if you can make money writing, if you can put it out as in like once you become an acclaimed author or screenwriter or whatever, it's probably a lot easier because this is going to become a movie. This is going to become a book. If you're writing and like struggling or writing and you take up other mediums, I think I find it hard.
Yeah.
It's like this takes a lot of time and it doesn't give the same reward. It's just not what it once was.
Right. Well, that's why stand-up to me, it's not that it's easy. It just seemed the easiest because with writing a movie, that's what I really wanted to be, was like a filmmaker and screenwriter. But you're like, this is going to take me a year. And then everyone's like, nah, we don't like it. Yeah. And you're like, shit, with stand-up, I can be like, oh, my shoe came untied and I stepped in dog shit. I can go tell that tonight. Like, it's a real thing tonight.
Yeah.
Great bit.
We said that about...
Don't steal it. Don't steal it.
Nobody take my shoe came untied and I stepped in dog shit.
It's very similar to blogging, where it was like we would post on the internet like 10, 12 times a day, just funny reactions and quick things. And if it sucked, you just moved on to the next thing.
Right.
But if I took a time to write a book, and it took me like a couple of years. If I made an album and it took me a long time and then I put it out and the first week everyone's like, this sucks.
Right.
I'd be like, what the fuck did I just spend a year for?
I got to kill myself. And also, I don't like dealing with during pandemic when it first started, I was like, I'm going to write the book I always wanted to write. And I started writing stories, and my agent, I have good agents and everything. And they were like, we're going to send it to the literary department. And they sent it, and the woman was like, okay, there's some funny stuff, but this is like a fire hose of nonsense. You got to fix this, get this. And I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm out of the contest.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
There's going to be one draft, and that's it. And if it doesn't work, I'm done.
No, I was like, and then when I made the movie with Louis, like he funded the movie. Like we sent it to nobody, which maybe we should have sent it to a couple people, but we just wrote it, and like there was nobody to go, oh, here's these notes. We can do this. We got to pitch it, because I hate fucking pitching and everything. So I'd rather just make something on my own.
Yeah.
But movies are expensive, it turns out.
I spent what did that cost to make 4th of July?
I don't know exactly. I think he's afraid to tell me because he just made a movie about my life. But I think around $2.5 million, something like that, which is very cheap for a movie. Yeah. But yeah, it was his money. It's also awkward because it was like union. So I got paid his money, which is also funny because I had a manager and a lawyer. They're like, I think we could get more money. And I'm like, it's his money. It's like, I can't just be like, could you give me more money while you're making my movie?
Right from your pocket. Just put it in
I was like, this is crazy that he's giving it any amount of money.
How did that come about? He just like...
We
took
always
an interest in your story?
Well, we became good buddies. We always talked movies, and that's what we always are talking about is movies. And I would always be like, we should write it, because I've always wanted to write movies, but I need somebody else to have, I can't think of the word again, responsibility, accountability is the word. Right. The Museum of Accountability. So I was like, we were talking, and then I was like, we should write a movie. And then we just it was kind of random. It was like Super Bowl Sunday that year. We were just kind of bullshitting on the phone, and I was like, we should write a movie. I'm always saying it. Partly because, I think he's a brilliant writer and filmmaker, but you're also like, you could do this. Like it's not like pitching a movie.
You got the cachet.
We can do it.
Yeah.
And we just started bullshitting about an idea and a story, and then he was talking about kind of a couple late in life and whatever, and then I kind of jotted down this idea because I go to therapy. My therapist is always like, you got to tell your parents they did a shitty job at this and that. And I always laugh because I'm like, so I'm just going to walk in and tell these people, you suck. And then I was like, what is that going to look like? And that kind of became the seed of an interesting thing. And it was funny because I thought the interesting thing was the parents, and he thought the interesting thing was me. Which is funny because at the time he was a parent and I was somebody's kid. Obviously, he was somebody's kid also.
And then it kind of flips.
So that kind of became the idea, and then we just were rolling with it. And then he was like, if we finish writing this, we'll make it. And so then every day I was like, we writing today? What do you think? And so we did, and he kind of kept his word and made it.
How long did that process take?
Not long. We really zoomed through it. I mean, February we conceived of the idea, and we wrapped in September, which is like
the whole
insane
movie.
Light. Yeah, we wrapped.
Holy shit!
Make it. We wrote it in about maybe 2 months or something like that, and then scheduled. And we shot it in like 15 days.
Well, you shot it where? New Hampshire, Vermont?
No, we shot it 5 days in the city, and then we shot on Lake George in New York, as was supposed to be Maine.
It goes to show though that like the other, like, you can get shit done if you know what I mean. If there's not the bureaucratic bullshit and producers and red tape and all that, and like sometimes, like you said, maybe you do need more of an editor, you do need more of a this or that, and that would add a couple months on. But if you have the right people who can self-fund and are motivated and have the time, like the rest of that shit is bullshit, you know?
Yeah, no,
it's that time is not necessary.
And that's what makes it such a great time for comedy and all business is that you can just set up. We're not shooting on film, so it's cheaper. You can get a camera for whatever, $1,000, $2,000. I have no idea what cameras cost. $4,000.
Bro, give it a couple years. I feel like you could do a movie on like an iPhone.
Yeah, people do.
They
Steven
say
Soderbergh
they do, but then it's like
you see the difference.
Like Olivia Rodrigo did like one of her music videos on it. But then, like, it's like we shot on an iPhone, but it's like you spent $100,000 on lighting.
Well, it's all about lenses and lighting. The iPhone commercials are all bullshit because they'll have like a $70,000 lens on top of it. It's like,
no fucking kidding.
right.
Yeah,
but not doing film is great. Like, I made a documentary with my buddy, and it cost like $30,000, but it was kind of the idea was kind of taken from these Scorsese documentaries, American Boy and Italian American. I don't know if you ever saw them. They're interesting. It's like him talking to his parents, but they shot on film. The budget is like $300,000 because you got to buy fucking film.
Physical film.
And then it's like, and then you don't get it. You're like, it didn't work. I've done a little bit of acting. I did one movie, a guy's student, an NYU student film. And as soon as I click it on, you literally hear film burning.
It's like, you better fucking get it.
And I'm like, fuck, sorry about that. And you're just like, you're fucking them over.
That's crazy. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's like scary.
Like every time you like, it's bloopers. It's like, no, fuck you.
That's like that was like you're listening to money just tick off. So digital's wonderful.
Yeah.
But it's a great time with podcasts and everything, and you can just make money and go straight to consumer. It's delightful.
You have an insane amount of interests, huh? Like you're like such a fashion sports fan, obviously film, obviously comedy. But you have like Joe List photography.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you got like hobbies and interests and shit.
Yeah, it's too much. I wish I could vote. My manager was like, you should focus on a thing. And I'm like, I can't. No, and I'm like,
I'm sure your manager loves the photography.
Yeah, I know.
Stop taking pictures and write a fucking book, dude.
I said that to Norman. He's like, I'm starting a photography page. He's like, that'll be big. And I'm like, well, it's fun. I'm like, I'd like to be an artist.
But that's I always kind of like not regret that, but like. Part of me sometimes is like, I wish I could just use social media in the way everyone else does. We're like, I don't know, I took this picture. I think it's kind of cool.
Right.
Like, I don't really do that. I'm not that I am like really a picture taker or anything like that. But like, sometimes I'm like, I'd like to just have a regular Instagram account. But I don't want to build that either. Like,
well, this is the thing about podcasts because I have such a love-hate relationship with podcasts because I make really good money. I make fucking doctor money podcasting, but I'm like, this isn't art.
Yeah.
It's like Norman and I are sitting. I'm like, would you eat your dad's cum? What? I'm like,
trust me, brother. Yep.
This is so dumb.
Yeah.
But then people love it and come.
But there is
see
something.
it.
I find something. It's definitely not art, but there is something about like. It works for a reason. It's the will of the people.
Right.
You know what I mean? People are dumb, and so low-hanging fruit and least common denominator works. But, like, there is something you put it out there, and this one bombs, and this one doesn't bomb, and people like this person and not that person, and it's very meritocracy in a way. Now we're probably getting past that, where it's not. Now it's like if you're a celebrity, you get handed a podcast, you're going to be big, you're going to make money. But in the beginning, it was kind of like, you're either funny and good at this, or you're not.
Yeah, no, and it's fun. And now podcasts are a big reason. It's the only way I see friends a lot of times because we're so busy. We're on the road and you have kids. So like for me, I've been doing Tuesdays with Stories with Mark for over 10 years. And now it's like we're guaranteed to hang out 2 hours a week.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Which is great. And we usually catch up before.
If like Barstool ever like, I don't know, ended.
Don't say that.
I'd probably talk to John like once a year.
Yeah.
Like we'd be like, hey, how you doing, man? Good, cool. Like, you want to get a beer? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now we talk like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a week.
I saw one of my buddies in Denver recently, and I hadn't seen him probably in 6 months, 8 months or whatever, and we like talked for like 2 hours when we first saw each other. And I was like, damn, this would be a great podcast. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You're talking to your friends.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, you have that thought of like, well, that wasn't bad. Should we record? Hit record.
Yeah.
Quick. And that is tricky too because like with Patreon and all that stuff, you're like, when you do get together, you're like, should we record this?
Well,
people will pay to hear it.
It's so narcissistic.
I know.
Oh my God.
Doesn't everyone need to hear this?
Yeah.
It's awful.
Because I feel like with comics, you guys are like inherently friends where like I have my friends and then I have work, and I definitely like I say my friends are like hilarious, like everybody says, and we could do that, record it, but nobody else is a professional, so it's like it's not even a thought. But if you are a comic and you are all in the business, it's like, well, we could just do this for fun or find a way to like make money out of doing this, Let's just record everything we always do because somebody will probably watch it.
Right. It feels very silly to not hang out and have the fun that we would have anyways and not get paid.
Do something with it. Yeah.
You might as well. And people, I have to remind myself, it's a service to the people. Like, it's not like the people are just like, I'll watch this because it'll make them money. People are like, I love it. Yeah. Every week I turn it on. And I have so many people that are like, I was going to kill myself, but you put out a podcast.
Isn't that crazy?
It's unbelievable.
The amount of people who we've saved their lives. Like,
bro, I'm a hero.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. We really are.
More than any first responder.
I was going to say, first responders have like a couple calls a year. I'm doing this weekly, okay, bro?
So send me $5 a month and I will save your life. I have a child.
And what, you're at Town Hall on the 9th of
November 9th.
And then when are you at the Wilbur?
Patriots Day weekend. I think it's the 19th. I keep looking at you. I'm like, will you be my dad? I think it's April 19th. I'm always there on Patriots Day.
Dude, Joe List in the city of Boston on Patriots Day at the Wilbur is, the most Boston thing maybe to ever happen.
Let me make sure it's the 19th. But the 19th. So, that's Wilbur Theater. And then November 9th, Town Hall, for the love of Christ. I know I hate the Yankees and I'm decked out, but Mets fans, come to Town Hall November 9th. It's fucking half. And it's this, we were talking about it off air. I've sold 700 tickets, which to me, I'm from Whitman, Massachusetts. I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself. But 700 tickets in New York City, I'm like, that's crazy. But they're like, guys, it seats 1,400. You're failing. And I'm like, fuck.
You get a 50%. You're failing at your job. I selling tickets to me was the worst part of like any of the job that we've done so far. I feel like I'm begging people.
I know.
And then you got to do, even when you think you're doing it too much, you got to promote even more. And then when you do sell out, someone convinces you to put on a second show.
Right.
And you stress about that one, and it's just the worst.
Well, and you feel like you're so self-conscious that you're like, God, I keep promoting this and Instagram and all this shit. I keep saying it. And then you do the show, and people are like, hey, when are you coming to New York?
I know.
Like, what?
That is crazy. How could I possibly have promoted this more?
But you think about it, it's just like, however many thousands followers you have, like 1% of them are seeing your post at any given time. So you just got to keep hammering it. And the diehards who do see it every time, they just have to deal with it because you're the diehard fan. Like, that's just the deal. But the amount of people who don't know, it's like, fuck.
No, I have it now all the time. I'm like, every time I'm in town, I get recognized in the street. People are like shaking. They're like, oh my God, dude, I love you. And I'm like, you come to the shows? They're like, well, I didn't know they had shows. Yeah. I'm like, what?
It's like, well, come now. You still can.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, I'm working. And
I know.
I had such a bad one the other day. I was in Royal Oak, Michigan. I went to CVS and the guy was like a big fan and he was working. And I was like, well, you got to come to the show. I'm like, the show tonight, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. And he's like, I'm working every night. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And he's like, it does. And I felt so bad that I was like, oh, I just told this guy his life sucks. I was like, oh, sorry. I don't mean like, but Jesus.
Come to my silly little show, please. Your life stinks, dude. I'm like, goodbye. That's basically what happened.
You should travel for a living. Joking around. Are you crazy? I felt bad.
You talk about like the guy shaking and stuff like that. Reminded me of one of my favorites of yours. And we deal with it all the time too. We have like this woman being like, my autistic boyfriend's a big fan.
No, it's all the time. It's like, they're like, she's like, I don't get it, but he, and the guy's like literally too nervous to come over. And I'm like, if you knew how little self-esteem I had, you would not be nervous.
Just crushing me.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a photography Instagram account. Just come take a picture.
I'm like, hey, so I'm more nervous than you are.
Yeah. Dude, we did the Wilbur probably like 2 years ago now. And I think we made our biggest mistake of any live event we ever did.
Is that the March Madness one?
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. It was St. Pat. It was the show was on St. Patrick's
March
Day.
Madness.
Right. And we were like, yo, it'll be a great thing, cool thing to do, like St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Let's have a bagpipe player open.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
So
No. This is literally the worst idea in the history of entertainment.
So we were like, well, because we never really landed on what we were going to do with openers, because like sometimes we'd have comedians and the crowd was like, "Oh, we're doing a comedy. We're doing a podcast show, and like it wouldn't be great for the comic. Like we had Sam Talent do Denver, and he's like, it's not really like the best ideal, whatever." And so we're like, all right, so for opening in Boston, St. Patrick's Day, we'll get a bagpiper. And we had this girl come in. She's big on TikTok from like Maine, I think, or somewhere, one of those states. And she starts bagpiping. And we were like, yeah, dude, this is sick. But then we realized she's going to do it for a half hour. And so it was just a half hour of this woman standing on stage bagpiping. It sounded like a cop's funeral.
Funny.
We started the comedy podcast show with a cop's funeral.
Bro, and think about it. Anytime you do hear bagpipes, it's a funeral. And it's for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Maximum.
Right.
30 minutes of bagpiping is you cannot even fathom how bad it is. And she tried to do she was taking like requests from the people who were trickling in early. I heard her like she was playing like the Game of Thrones theme song, and she was playing like rap songs, like trying to make it like a thing. We literally went in the green room and we just closed the door and we're like,
that's so fucking funny. That's amazing.
We played our own music.
It's almost like a prank.
Yeah.
It's like somebody was like, we'll get you an opener.
Yeah. And then we did 2 shows that night. So after the first show, we're like, someone's got to tell her. Someone's got to tell her we're not doing the second show. And then we're both such pussies, we just sent her out to the second show again.
That's the best.
It did make for great material. It was like, hey, how about those bagpipers? And the whole audience was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, that's classic.
You never know what we're doing, man. Never know what we're doing. So anyway, get the tickets November 9th at Town Hall, April 19th at the Wilbur, and fuck the Yankees, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, but also come, Yankee fans. I love you. Yeah. Cheer.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.